Yada, yada, you get the rest. 6:02, it's the Nielson Show. Lieutenant Eric and Tom Gazzola with you on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. You can check us out YouTube. You can check us out on TuneIn and EdmontonSportsTalk.com on the live listen. Good morning, Tom. How you doing? Happy Monday, man.
Good morning, Eric. I
hope that translated all well.
Blown away by that anthem still. That was John T. and Victoria's handiwork.
John T. and Victoria with the 6 o'clock anthem. Did you get the conch?
There it is. Am I missing it? Okay.
Try that one.
This one?
Yeah, we'll.
I hear music still.
The 6 o'clock anthem's playing. No. Now that's done.
Okay, what about this?
No, I don't think
I have
any
it all
of those,
cranked up.
Any of those would work.
Who let me in charge here?
I think it's the media player here. It's my computer. It's my computer.
It's
my computer. It has nothing to do with that. But good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show. Monday morning, of course, Dustin Nielson still in transit and commute. Enjoying the Grey Cup, safe to say, I guess, with all the pictures that he had next to his buddy Glenn Suter there, and a few
very good friend Glenn Suter.
Select shots.
Fantastic. I listened to his and Marshall Ferguson's broadcast on the way into Bozone Live, Season 4. By the way, Bozone Live hunter Jason Moss. Grey Cup champion.
Grey Cup champion. Again. This time as a head coach.
That was cool. Watching that while we were in studio doing the show was pretty neat. But the boys sounded really good. Him and Marshall sounded great. Dusty was the voice of God in stadium, if you will, as well. Didn't mess up a single word.
It was a good radio call. And, he will be doing the television sooner than later.
Yeah. Next year, I would imagine.
Assume, but
he's very good.
Hope everybody had a nice, safe Grey Cup, fun Grey Cup, I guess it would have been, out there in the Hammer. Looked like a good time. The broadcast yesterday on TSN, everything else kind of
great game.
No hitches or anything kind of complaining about it. I mean, Green Day was awesome. You're left with this game. I mean, it's an all-timer in terms of games and how it kind of ended. The Bombers back-to-back Grey Cup losses now. I guess that's the story with this dynasty. You go from dynasty to back-to-back Grey Cup losses.
They are a tremendous, formidable team, but I'm not going to lie to you. I don't mind seeing them not win.
It was getting a little much, in my humble opinion. So the Alouettes, congratulations to you and you plucky underdogs. Nobody wanted you, I guess. Hey, that was the whole. That was the thing. Grey Cup recap. We'll be doing that as well. It was another weekend in the NFL. We'll be doing that. Good, bad, and ugly. Prior to the end of the opening hour, Tom and I will go over our good, our bad, and our ugly over the weekend. We had some stories pop up here just before we went to air. Maybe we don't get to those ones, but that's for like a nasty club membership. Hey,
yes.
Darren Dreger, 7 o'clock. He'll be our hockey insider for today. Oilers in the midst of a 4-game Eastern trip in which they fell. Game 1 on Saturday afternoon out in Tampa. They're in Sunrise tonight against the Panthers. What's going on here? What are you shaking your head?
I mean, that was a terrible collapse in the third period. You had the lead going into the third period against I would say, vulnerable Tampa Bay Lightning
They were asleep.
squad.
They weren't up for that game.
They just, this season, I didn't expect them to go on a 8-game winning streak or anything like that, but they gave some hope with the 3-game winning streak. It was looking like it had a very strong chance of becoming a 4-game winning streak. And they absolutely soiled the sheets in that third period. And Belzy and I and Trevor were doing the post-game show here, and Joaquin Gage stuck around for the entirety of the game. And just the head shaking in the third period from what we witnessed in that collapse was incredible. And it's like you see some good signs last week. Maybe they didn't deserve to win that second Kraken game, where they came from behind with the natural hat trick from Evander Kane, but just the poor defensive play, once again, just killing this team. And there was a lot of comments in regard to the goaltending, not being able to make a save. I said it on the post-game show. I didn't like the Glendening goal. I thought that one, where you really needed a save, that would have been a perfect example of that. But the fact that he was able to get the redirection, the fact that he was unaccosted, weak back check, terrible neutral zone play, a couple of guys went off, bad pinches from Evan Bouchard, so many things. We'll discuss more as the day progresses. And obviously on the pregame show today at 3:30, Eric.
Yes.
So that's where I was shaking my head because after everything that went on, Las Vegas GP after the game, as well as the Grey Cup, we had NFL Sunday. You were mentioning that game. in Tampa, and I'm like, oh yeah, bad.
That happened. Hey,
That happened.
Kind of a flatness in the midst of your weekend. Well, but a game against Seattle that you say, well, you could have, should have, maybe lost, and a game against Tampa where they should have, maybe could have won. I don't know how you slice those, but
well, I slice it like this: you had the lead, you had 2 good periods, and then you just let it all falter, and then the win against the Kraken earlier in the week, that was good. That was good.
Good sign.
They didn't play particularly, but they dug their way out of a hole and managed to win, and then ruin a situation on Saturday where they put themselves into a good spot. I digress.
We will get to Oilers and Panthers. Of course, it is a 3-hour program. Lots to discuss this morning. Darren Dreger has mentioned Oilers. Will be getting to that. Cool Bet Hotline of the day. We'll be cooking up a little something. I know Mr. Lean is in the building. Captain Hunch is here as well. Trev, hello. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are we doing today?
How you doing, man?
Yeah, doing really good. Can't complain.
How was the weekend?
I had a great weekend. Actually, it was nice to relax. Yesterday was like the first. It was just it was a lot on the go the last few weekends. So with family coming up and all that, so I chilled in bed and I played video games.
Chilled in bed all day?
Pretty well, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
Did some video editing and just played some video games. So can't complain. I needed it. I really needed it.
You were industrious this weekend.
I'm still sore. There's muscles. I'm kind of embarrassed to wake up the next day. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Do some yoga.
I'll do something. Got to get moving already. I know. Well, we hung out Friday night. We had a good little night there at the Pine Off White there. Had a couple pints. You and Trev went out playing hockey, after that?
Someone bailed. And it wasn't me.
Oh, I thought you two were supposed to, you had Friday night hockey there.
I extended an invite to him, I would say, over a month ago, and he's yet to show up.
This Friday, I will be there. I promise, okay?
Oh, okay.
I swear. Before. No, I never promised before. I said I'd go, but this time I'm legit going. I promise, Tommy. You'll see me there, and I'll be the one saying, hey, I'm open. Give me the puck.
Okay. Hey, give me the puck.
Yeah.
A regular Derek Ryan.
Yeah.
Hey, he had a good night on Saturday.
Of course he had a good, yeah. That first goal.
Chef's kiss.
Exemplary, yeah.
Beautiful.
Good on Hamblin as well. That was a great goal
awesome
for the first
story.
and the emotion behind that. But, Lieutenant Eric, my tears have dried, but it was a fantastic game for the CFL. Is it killing you? Cody and Moss won it after getting chased out of Saskatchewan. Spruce Grove Chad. I'd like to address this, Spruce Grove Chad, at the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Nobody else wanted him. So it good for Cody this morning, but BC didn't want him, Toronto didn't want him, and then he left Saskatchewan, and now he's won a Grey Cup. Vern Adams Jr. was also quarterback on the Rough Riders. It's a 9-team league, and players come and go different places. Chris Jones won a Grey Cup in Edmonton, and now you have fans here wanting to fire him.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of how it all works. So I'm congratulations to Cody. There's no sour grapes from this Rough Rider supporter. And if you would canvass most Rough Rider fans, I think they'd want to see the people that got rid of Fajardo also get rid of. So it's one of those things. And I think the missing, I heard Saskatchewan mentioned so many times last night on the pregame, during the game, and the postgame, but Anthony Calvillo and what he did in calling plays and getting a guy like Cody Fajardo and behind him and Moss was driving the thing. He's the emotion man. He's the head coach. But the brilliance of Anthony Calvillo behind a Cody Fajardo, I think, is not getting enough praise and credit as it should. But no, congrats to the Alouettes. And nobody outside of Rod Peterson, I think, thought they were going to pull this one off this weekend. So congratulations to them.
They had my heart because, again, the connection to Jason Moss on Bozone Live Wild TV. We're back tomorrow, episode 3 of this new season. Ballsy play calling, too. Third down calls, and some that didn't work out earlier in the game, but late in the game, clutch. They delivered, they executed. Some great defense from the Alouettes. Like, a lot came together. And then what did they end the season on? A 9-game winning streak? 8-game winning streak, I believe it was.
Got hot at the right time.
That's a team peaking and cresting at the right moment. And another example of it can happen and does happen in the world of football, not just the CFL. So, good to see. Hamilton looked phenomenal. I did like Green Day. Hard not to. I think that they've done a great job, the CFL, in getting excellent musical acts.
It seemed like a good Grey Cup. Again, top to bottom. People always trying to find things to complain about. I'm sure that there were a few points and everything, but I think the halftime Green Day song selection, what do you give that? A strong 8 out of 10. Like I'm not looking for any play
the hits,
new stuff or some Yeah, the hits.
Play the
You
hits.
had a hit. You had
No big
something. You
deal.
said that's kind of what you do, and
Right.
I think they had a good time themselves. A little bit of videoing,
Yeah.
kind of selfie.
They're at the point in their careers where it's like those classic legends of music that they still put out new albums, but it's like I don't really want to listen to that. Just play the hits and maybe mix in one of those new ones.
I think we all jumped off at a stop.
Yeah.
The Green Day train's going.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what? I'm good here. I'll stop off here. It's been a slice. You guys enjoy yourselves.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it was. I think it was a good performance there, and I mean the anthem, the weather was nice. So congratulations,
Great.
Hamilton, on a 110th Grey Cup for the ages.
Kudos.
And as mentioned, the game did not disappoint either. That was a great game. Comes in from Rip City Step. Can't agree more. Morning, boys. How about Canada pulling off the huge win down in Jamaica, the first time in a really long time that they can see that. Really good to see them play with some passion, some spirit, and it was a great game. What'd you guys think? I know it wasn't the marquee matchup of the weekend, but anyways, have a great day, Rob the Plumber. We went out Friday night. We met at the Pine Off White for the Voyagers watch party.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the pitch was soaked. It was
Crazy.
there was much of the pitch to play on, actually. All the corners were kind of underwater, up to your ankle.
Well, who was it from Canada Soccer that was going out there in his slacks and his running
Testing,
shoes?
yeah.
Yeah, and he's going to the corner kick spot, and I'm like, his whole shoe is submerged. That's where you could use some flood pants.
I did not watch the game the next morning.
saw some of it.
I didn't have
Yeah.
I think Iwanek was watching every kick. Maybe he can join us for like some sort of special segment breakdown later in the show.
Just yell at us from his office where he's probably having a nap.
That is what he's doing. He comes in early and then just has a nap. But congratulations to Canada. Of course, they will play the return leg on Tuesday. I do believe tomorrow from Toronto for that two-legged affair. So very good there. 780-218-9999 is the Paris Jewelers inbox. Come hard after that A&W gift card, $20 to A&W for the text of the day today. I saw a really good one there already, but...
Rip City Step has a good one. He says,
Yeah.
I was hoping Green Day was going to do a cover of Log Driver Waltz. That's my only complaint about the day.
That would have been great.
Well, way to endear yourself to the entire country. Do the kids know about the Log Driver Waltz these days?
Well, they will if we educate them properly.
This young YouTube Trev, you don't know the Log Driver Waltz? You, my friend, are not cultured as a Canadian if you don't know it.
Yeah, no, I have no idea.
Saturday morning cartoons. Every, I don't know what, once an hour during Saturday morning cartoons.
Even sometimes I think late at night when the CBC went off air or whatever,
They would play the
before
Log
they go,
Driver
they'd
Waltz.
kill time to the top of the hour or whatever
Was
it was.
it Burling Down and Down White Waters?
The Log Drivers Waltz pleases girls completely.
Yeah, with the cartoon.
And there were a few other, what do they call them, vignettes, I guess.
Yes.
They just kill time to the top of the hour. I really...
Did they not play the national anthem at times too?
I think so, yeah.
I think
you had
late
a
at night.
cross-Canada perspective with the plane flying or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
You'll learn.
we'll show you
learn.
after.
We'll show you.
We will video you watching the Log Drivers Waltz for the first time. How'd that be?
That's nasty club content.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's exclusive.
Yeah.
Exclusive. Somebody had a text about Kenny Lawler, and maybe it's the start of the Kenny Lawler curse.
Ooh.
Wouldn't that? Hey.
Ooh,
well,
Kenny.
Well, really.
And he's smack talking his time as an Elk. They paid him handsomely.
Didn't do anything here while he's getting
Nothing.
paid handsomely. Went back to Winnipeg, and guess what? Boom, bam, they've lost back-to-back Grey Cups.
Karma.
I think we have an issue here.
Hey there.
His name is Kenny Lawler.
Ooh, baby.
702-218-9999. Best part about working night shift is never missing the beginning of the best damn sports show in Edmonton. How about those Alouettes and Broncos yesterday? Both with comeback nail-biting wins that comes in from the Wolf. Yes, the Broncos. They're heating up. What is it, 5 straight now as they beat the Vikings on the Sunday nighter 21-20. You can join me tonight as well. Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Centric Casino Fort Road. A very important night as one Matthew Iwanek will be joining me as well. We are doing the draw. It is draw night. We'll be drawing a name. It's a chance for a trip for two to Los Angeles to catch the Rams and the Browns. That game goes a couple weeks from this week down in LA. So the draw is tonight. Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Centric Casino Fort Road, and a hell of a game tonight as well. It's the Eagles take on the Chiefs in a bit of a perhaps Super Bowl primer, if you will. So get down there tonight. We'll also have the Oilers and Panthers game on as well. Lots of TVs, lots of chances to win. We'll have the free square board and specials tonight as well, including that loaded burger goes down a dream. So Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge tonight, Eagles Chiefs, big Los Angeles trip giveaway. I know Savage the Plumber, Trevor Savage, is already up. He's bouncing around in the nasty chat and excited. I think he's got close to, or if not half of the entries into this. He is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers of this thing, and I don't want to jinx him right now by saying that, but he is kind of your regular season darling, if you will.
Yes.
He's taken the wins. He's done all he can during the season. Now is the championship tonight. We'll see if he can put it together.
Well, good luck to Trev.
Yes, good luck. Good luck to all the participants. I'm glad Owanek's joining you. I need to come down there, but there's an Oilers game tonight, obviously. We needed an observer, a non-partial,
right.
He's just going to stand there and watch.
Yeah, make sure everything's kosher. Yeah. I'd love to be that person. I just can't tonight.
Counting ballots.
Counting ballots. I will make sure everything is thorough and performed above board when I'm there. Thursday, I cannot either, unfortunately. Bozone Live. It's the last couple of weeks of hunting season for
You
Whitetails.
have a week. You have a week coming up. You just want to explain just so that we know now if you're like, oh, this is that, and some days you're talking hockey and you're here at 3:30. Then the next day you're going to be talking about
taking down whitetails,
bow hunt. Yeah. So what does your week look like here? What's happening?
Today we're going to do. I'll probably live here for the rest of the day. To be honest with you, 3:30 we get going with the Oil Stream pregame show. So be sure to keep it locked on Edmonton Sports Talk all day. Tomorrow is episode 3 of season 4, Bozone Live on Wild TV. And, we're getting into the last 10 days of the season for whitetails around the Bozone. So we did have a couple of bucks go down prior to the start of the live portion of the show. We did a preview show on the 16th. And yesterday was our first live one where we did have a couple of bucks that were taken down. And then sounds like our ladies are leading the charge. We have a couple of lady hunters that are absolutely tremendous.
Right.
And so I don't want to give away too much, but they've got some great visuals.
It's going to be
great.
They
shoot their own footage, too. These hunters. Not only are they in their tree stand,
but you got to be quiet. You got one click of a camera can that not ruin the whole hunt?
They're very good. They've got the Tacticam on their bows.
Unbelievable.
Scott Sterling he was my co-host yesterday because he took down his buck a couple of weeks ago. He actually double tapped his camera because it's all set up strategically, right? They've got their lanes, a shooting lane like the Oilers tend to pass up way too often this season. And they have their shooting lanes, and the bucks go by. They're chasing does, obviously. And Scott accidentally double-tapped the record button on his main camera, but he had the Tacticam footage of him taking down a really nice buck yesterday. So,
more hockey analogies when it comes to the slot
tie it
shots.
all in together.
How many slot shots did he get?
Lots of slot shots. His shooting percentage and PDO is through the roof right now.
Back from hunt. I got PDO.
Yeah.
How did that hunt go? PDO.
His shot was through a screen, and he still scored. Hit a branch on the way in. His arrow did, but yeah, it's great. And so we're going. There's 5 episodes remaining. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays throughout the rest of November, and then we've got a ton of Oilers hockey to get to. We have a watch party on Wednesday at Kingsway Boston Pizza. Join the crew there.
So I'll see you there.
You're
in the
coming,
parking
yeah.
lot. Absolutely.
So you've got a busy week too. You're going to be Monday and Thursday. Yeah, that's a busy week, I would say.
It is, but I'm it's fun.
It is fun.
I can't it's one of those I'll be. I have to go to the Boston. That's all. Got to go to Boston Pizza now and watch Tom do a pregame show.
And yeah,
what pizza am I going to have tonight? After I've eaten
one.
pizzas for the past 5 nights, I don't think.
And it'll be a fun social experiment, too, because this is one YouTube Bartholomew Trevor's.
It says Stomping Grounds.
Old Stomping Grounds. This is where we discovered YouTube, Trev.
Yeah.
Dusty and I.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Are
It's
you
almost
excited?
Yeah, I'm beyond excited. So as soon as the pregame's done, I'll be the first one there. Yeah, I cannot wait. It'll be really cool to see all the regulars, hopefully all the nasties that come and, show your support. I can't wait for it. And Oh, it's gonna be so cool. I'm really pumped for it. Honestly, I'm just I cannot wait. So
One
that's
request.
old. Yeah, what's that?
Just do your hair better than what you've got going on.
yeah. Today was a rough
I
day.
didn't know who you were when I walked in. I was like, who is this here?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's
didn't
Trev.
even. I kind of just dried it with the after the shower. I didn't
Well,
really.
it's just flat.
Yeah, it's very
Usually
flat.
it's kind of like waving with
Style.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. The whole honestly, I like doing this. I did it with my last license, but I just noticed my license expired this weekend. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in Monday, and I like looking kind of goofy for those picks. So that's the knowledge behind
You
this.
know what? You're a scarf and long overcoat away from being a guy named Charles.
Yeah, I
with
can
that
see
look.
I can
Yeah,
see it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Charles.
Yeah.
that mustache, man. What is
Yeah,
it?
that's
November 20,
something.
hey?
Yeah, so I'm
It's-
keeping this for a while. It's
Oh,
not going by the end
post-November?
of November.
Wow. It's
Yeah,
gonna be a
for
look
sure.
now.
Yeah, I did it last year as well, but it is crazy. Like almost a year ago, I remember just running into Tommy and Dusty at Kingsway Boston Pizza, and here I am now. So it's kind of crazy how it's all worked out.
Are
but
there any
pretty sweet.
perks for us?
Uh,
That you can kind of,
oh yeah, I'm sure I could figure something out.
Finagle something?
Oh yeah.
it's good to have somebody on the inside, eh?
Yeah, I'll figure something out. Yeah, that's awesome.
What about on Charles? Your thoughts on Vegas?
Very cool. It looked awesome.
It did.
It really did. The Sphere was a total part of the show, as was expected. I'm glad that they got the track issues sorted out after Alex. It ruined that manhole cover. We talked about it on Friday. The manhole cover popping up from the downforce wrecked the chassis of Alex Albon's vehicle. That was insane. But by all accounts, the Vegas Grand Prix went off generally without a hitch. I was watching some videos about it yesterday. They reopened the streets during the day. And then a few hours before race time, they closed it all down. I'm sure they cleaned off the track from all the debris that accumulates from a day of just regular vehicles driving and passing by. But it really neat. I guess maybe that'll quiet some of the noise surrounding the Las Vegas Grand Prix, because there was talks that, you know what, they want to do this thing for 10 years. The deal in place is for 3. They're 1 down. There was a lot of issues with repaving the streets. Traffic was a mess. They have 8 weeks now to clean it all up. They had to cut into like the Bellagio fountains, and but by all accounts, it went well. And even Max Verstappen probably changing his tune after picking up the win.
After picking up the win, singing "Viva Las Vegas" as he crosses the
Yeah.
finish line to the Bieber checkered flag. No, I think anything new in sports, we like to hop on. I know I was hopping on for manhole covers. This is going to ruin it. You know, it's Vegas and all this stuff. But no, there's always going to be some sort of issue, and I think Vegas, if there ever is an issue, right, they do a good job as a city of just kind of putting, oh, look at this shiny new thing. And yeah, I like the whole nighttime. I mean, just for me, and specifically how my weekend was set up, home alone.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of living free and easy, George Costanza eating the block of cheese. And I'm like, racing at like 11 p.m.? Why not?
Phenomenal.
I'll see how
Live.
long I can stay up and, just pass it on the couch type of thing. But it had a really cool vibe to it. And, obviously with everything happening, Verstappen winning again, I know we're not too concerned, I guess, about how the race goes and the standings at this point. But
Irrelevant.
a good event.
Yeah.
A good event.
Yeah.
Which could be even greater moving forward.
That was something we talked about a little bit too heading into the race weekend. Was not a lot of opportunities. Eric Thomas hopped on. It looked like on the track to make moves, but Leclerc in the last lap there, getting by Checo, I think kind of proves us wrong. But yeah, and that huge crash for Lando, that looked scary. Although he kind of went on into that runoff area.
Yeah, he's okay after
Yeah,
that.
he was all right. So I thought it was good. It looked really, really cool. And you know what? Maybe it'll quiet some of the noise surrounding it heading into year 2 next year.
780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox. Have your say today. Get in. Text of the day, $20 to A&W on the line. I do have Chris Sadaway right now in front with his Kenny Lawler curse text. If you can do better, 780-218-9999. Or get in touch in the nasty chat. Lance says, I would have hung out with LTE all weekend. Should have said something. I could have made some time for you. Ian Ferguson, a.k.a. Fergie's Prostate. Hey, Edmonton Sports Talk. How about a conch for Canada men's rugby team that laid a 40-15 beatdown of Brazil Saturday? Fergie's Prostate. I guess we can give you a conch for that. Hopefully it's working. What the hell is going on?
I have these
here?
all bumped up.
There's something wrong with the conch today. It's a Monday morning.
Did I not? Do I need
Maybe
to
somebody punched a hole
Try
in it.
again.
I think again. No, it's not. It's.
I don't know.
I'm sick of it. Actually, can I try something real quickly?
Yeah,
here?
you could do whatever.
No, that's even that's
happening
even worse.
now?
It's all going downhill already,
boy.
but we'll be.
Dustin's
we'll be
back
fine.
tomorrow. He can fix it.
At least Matt's here. Matt can always help us.
Sleeping.
He's sleeping. 702-899-99. One hell of a sentence, eh? Max Verstappen singing Viva Las Vegas to a Bieber checkered flag. It comes in from Red. No doubt they're Red. Norman a Combine, loving Danica Patrick's insight analysis over the weekend, so that's good. I would gladly take Bouchard getting 10 less points on the year to stop 10 more goals. Leon McDavid can score goals. We need some freaking defense.
Yeah, that's. I think a lot of people would agree with that statement.
Well, Jack and Jamal, was it Jamal?
Jamal filling in for Lou.
He said, this is the defenseman. This is him. He said it multiple times during the broadcast.
Well, yes, but and I think part of the frustration with Evan Bouchard is he played well in the stretch drive last year. His defensive game improved. He had Matthias Ekholm to be the Bouchard whisperer when the year prior it was Duncan Keith. And you go, all right, like you got the crappy stuff out of the way with a tough start to the season last year with Evan Bouchard. Defensively, he was a mess. He started with Philip Broberg and two young guys getting exposed. And then Matthias Ekholm comes in, helps Bouchard become a better defenseman. And you think, all right, second time's the charm. He's going to be okay. He's showing that he can do it. And every spring, his game gets better overall, especially defensively. And then we start this year, and it's an absolute tire fire to the point where, Jamal Mayer is going, this is the guy. But I don't know. Are they going to have to bring in another veteran defenseman at the deadline to help this guy out again?
That's why they're keeping Kenny around to bring in that other stud D-man right
with
now.
all that cap space that they have. I mean, that's to me that's the frustrating part because he is capable of much better defensively, and his motor is not running. He's just idling at like 1,000 RPM. Not great.
Not great at all. How are you going to get that motor going though? I don't like. That
controller unplugged
that's
at times.
Car. Yeah, but that's who
Let's
he is.
rev it to 5,000.
Heck yeah, Boo Bombers. That text flies in as well. I think a lot of people kind of reveling in few Blue Bombers fans listen to the show as well. Texting in a little sad today, but
hey, they've had a great run, and they're going to be right there again next year. I think too. They've kept that core intact. I'm sure some guys will skedaddle for more money elsewhere, but. That's a good team. They have a great coach. Talk about the GM being
a year older.
Yeah. But I think they're still going to be just fine next season. They'll be right there with BC. I don't know what Edmonton's going to be next year. Calgary, Saskatchewan, we'll see. But I think Winnipeg, BC again next year should be at the top.
It's interesting times, and I do wonder if Edmonton can kind of close a bit of that gap here and what expectations are. I know we had a lot last year with the amount of weaponry assembled. However, it was just that quarterbacking position that took a while. So you could have said, well, what if? And now they know. They now know. Well, yeah. Trey Ford will be the guy moving forward, so we will see. They are coached by a guy who's done it before and won a Grey Cup, so it'll be something to watch. I don't want Bouchard to become a shutdown D-man. I just want him to make better reads. He can do that. It's possible. I think people are just kind of...
Just a reliable defenseman.
They'd be content with a middle ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, let's aim low and achieve for a little bit here. We're not even doing that when it comes to his defensive zone. He, among some others, don't get me wrong. It's not just on him, but his... As Sean and I talked about this on the post-game show, he was... Like, people pointed to the goaltending. People pointed at some other instances, some back checks that were not great. But I think Belzy said it. He's like, at least 2 or 3 of those goals occurred because of a misplay by Evan Bouchard.
Skinner tonight?
Whatever. It's like, yeah, probably. I mean, we'll talk to Dregs at around 7 o'clock and ask him what the latest is, but apparently the Oilers are sniffing around hard for goaltending help. Nobody's going to try to help them, trust me. And the fact that the closest thing to it actually happening is with Montreal is sad. Like, Jake Allen, really? Sam Montembeault, really? Ugh. No bueno.
Let me try this here.
What are you going to do?
A conch to the Canadian men's rugby. Hey.
All right.
Thank you, Matty.
He's
sleeping. Not sleeping over there.
Oh,
yeah,
he's listening.
His power
Morning,
text
Matthew.
is great. That's awesome. Well, now we're kicking here.
All right.
That's going to be it for now. Just the conch. If you want more conches, text in 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat on YouTube. Got a half an hour. Set them up, and I'll knock them down for you if you want. They also went 0 for 5 on the PP. And McDavid and Dry had 0 points and -2 when they could have buried the Lightning in the first 2 periods. It comes in for Matt. And I would agree there, Matt. Chances aplenty. And I know that this team is not one right now that takes full advantage of every single chance that comes their way.
No.
But during the first especially, and you could even argue the second, they should have, could have put more pucks in that net.
Power play was...
Great looks.
Yeah, it ain't happening right now. I mean, the power play is still respectable. It's in the top 10. But it doesn't have the efficiency or doesn't have the deadliness of last year. I suppose it's reasonable to expect. Yeah, it's reasonable to expect it to be pretty good. It is good right now, but the second power play unit starting last week, we were saying, man, PP2 is really carrying the workload.
We
right
joked
now.
initially,
Yeah.
but now it's turning into more of a
like,
thing, which is not a good reality, I think, for most fans. But you're right. You can't. If you're going into this season expecting that power play is just going to be at that, or maybe even room for improvement, like it's not that's not reasonable at all.
That's not. It's gonna regress a bit, but the percentage is good. Sitting in the top 10 is good, but not executing in clutch moments is the issue. Seizing the opportunity in big moments of games is the issue. So, no bueno.
Hey, Tommy, any chance the guys at Bozone Live throw you up in a tree stand? Good to see you back
They
with the
wanted
guys.
to. I agree to it every year, and then it just never happens. But this year would have been perfect considering how nice the weather is and should continue to be. I got my first bit of camo, too. I got this really nice zip-up, so warm.
Like a vest?
No, like just a zip-up pullover. Really, really nice. I was thinking of wearing it today.
You should have worn it in.
Should I bring it to... Well, I'm not on the morning show tomorrow. Maybe I wear it for the hangout
BPs.
tomorrow. No. What are you
Trev gets
laughing
it.
at?
Trev gets it.
Charles.
I second that.
Not
Wear
gonna
that
happen.
at BP's. Come on.
Well, but at least
Too hot.
The hangout, I think it's a good hangout because then it's a discussion starter. You could, and then
Yeah.
if you want, you could peel it off. Like if it's a little hot in the hangout.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair play. So what, tomorrow?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'll
Camo
wear it on the
tomorrow.
show tomorrow, too. Hey, now.
Nasty chat or Paris Julizenbuck 780-218-9999. Lieutenant Eric, more like IT Eric. It wasn't me, it was Iwanic. He was the one that fixed it.
Yeah.
I was at the Canadians and Knights game on Thursday night. Primo didn't look too bad between the pipes. Lots of odd man rushes given up, but Edmonton does the same thing, so he would be used to it. Comes in from the Sailor. Out in the Hammer. We're not like Allen. Would we putting together packages? More like we're not there yet. I don't want
To
to be
me,
there
it's
yet.
like to hear that Jake Allen is the most enticing part of this is like gross.
I just don't want to. I don't want to be entertaining that on a Monday. Can we leave it till like the Tuesday, maybe even the Wednesday?
Yeah.
I'm not doing.
You're not ready for this.
I'm not ready for this.
I understand.
It's not even American Thanksgiving.
I know. 5-10-1. Gross.
If they would just show defensive urgency when they've had the lead, there's no sense of locking it down. Instead, they make ridiculous gambles when they have the lead. Frustrating.
Yep.
And
Touché.
that could be offensive or even getting into little battles. I think the Lightning, too, know how to work a team. When the Lightning are behind the 8-ball, they'll know how to get you behind the 8-ball.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, you're sitting there, you're like, how did this happen?
Well,
That's what good teams do, right?
That's what good teams do, and I'm sure they recognize you Oilers were vulnerable. I said earlier in the show, Tampa was vulnerable. They had just snapped a 3-game losing streak. They beat Chicago on Thursday. They were in a spot where they're missing Vasilevsky, Jonas Johansson. I mean, some of the goal. The Hamblin goal was nice.
Yeah.
That was the nice goal, but like both of D-Rock Ryan's goals were not nice, especially the first one. Yeah, it's just, It is not happening for this Oilers team this year. I can't believe it.
Well, but game one of a 4-game trip, we said this trip would be very illustrative on kind of how, I mean, again, you had your Islanders Kraken week.
But that's a missed opportunity.
2K was, exactly. So if you're not picking up on these missed opportunities, now you're like, well, and these are all teams. I know that right now everybody's ahead of them in the standings, but right, the Islanders and Kraken should be below, like, kind of how. But coming up against these playoff teams now, you're kind of like, well, this is different sauce. And if they're not taking advantage of them when they're down or outright, being able to hang with them when they're not, that's the concerning part.
Yep.
You can be the best of the worst, but it's not going to get you anywhere.
They're mediocre of the worst.
Yeah, even not the best of the worst, the mediocre of the worst.
Yeah.
Good morning from Tampa, Florida. Can I get a conch for my sledge hockey team for a great tournament? We lost 2-1 to LA in the championship. Congratulations to the Montreal for winning the Grey Cup. Was it a good game? Was not able to watch. That comes in from a Teef. Hey, Teef. Did you see him on the intermission there with Gino?
Yes.
They showed the picture, and they showed the picture of the team.
Yes.
Teef, love him, wheels, an AM nasty through and through. He was down in Florida, sledge hockey championships, and I know he's been there all week, and he's been he texts. I made the mistake of giving Wheels my personal cell number one time, and now the guy won't leave me alone. But he had this sledge hockey championship. They lose in the final, the Oilers team.
Mm-hmm.
And Gene had 2 representatives from the team. I think it was first or second intermission. Can't remember.
Yeah.
But then they had the team photo.
Yep.
And did you see it? He's got the C on his jersey too and everything.
I would make him the captain too.
Captain, my captain.
And you do a beautiful, brilliant Atif impersonation.
I love him. He allows me to do it. He's a good guy.
You
he can
have
laugh
his
at
blessing.
himself. Yeah. So
to those
Atif,
wondering.
Wheels, we love you. Can't wait to see you back at the Century Casino. And a conch for the Sledge Hockey Edmonton Oilers down in FLA.
Beautiful.
And we have the trade rumors flying around in the Nasty Chat
go.
as well. I like this. I like people constructing the trade packages in the Nasty Chat during the show. Maybe we can arrive at something and we come to something by the end that we can all kind of sign off on, right? Like, how about this one? Penner's Pancakes. Sweeteners will be going to Detroit to Campbell. Reimer only 1.5 mil. PP and PK were let downs. The effort is not there. Need a talking to from Greer and Morrow. How about that? How about that for bringing him back?
Well, yeah, those guys in the late 90s, early 2000s, absolutely. It isn't working for Mike Greer right now in San Jose. That team's atrocious. Although they did beat the Oilers 2 weeks ago. Boy, oh boy.
James Reimer? Optimus Rhyme? I feel like we've had multiple discussions on this over the years, right?
I mean, can't get any worse, I suppose.
Yeah,
Don't test them.
It could.
Yikes.
780-218-9999. Bringing in another goalie isn't a long-term fix. The team needs to sort out how to prevent grade A chances against. I didn't think changing the coach was a solution either. Cy, Library Pat. But you're still in that game. It's still, they're out shooting them like 2-1, 3-1, and the score is still as it is. Now that's either the chances or the goaltending. Some night it's the chances, some nights the goaltending, some nights it's both.
It's whack-a-mole. You solve one, something else pops up. You hit that one, the other thing pops up. It's been very frustrating.
And SJ and the Kootenays, the wins are a smokescreen. Squeaked out wins against the teams with ECHL offensive skill. Play the same against T-Bay, gets stomped. Any debate or retort to that one? I wouldn't. I'd agree with that.
They didn't get stomped.
No.
They performed poorly in the third period, but I understand the sentiment and respect it. Yeah. This season is just, who saw this coming? 3:30 p.m. Wallstream pregame show. We get you set. The Oilers looking for their first win against a team in a playoff spot this season. Game, 17?
American Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
We'll be having our watch party Friday here. Oilers and Capitals wrapping up the strip.
Correct.
It'll be after the Saturday Night Live draft that will be happening during the Hangout Friday, in which, can I be honest with you? You'll be drafting in this draft, correct?
From what I understand, yes.
And from what I understand, yes as well. I've never watched a complete Saturday Night Live
I would
front
have
to back.
thought that you were a Saturday Night Live aficionado.
The complete opposite.
What?
I know your Chevy Chases. I know your Norm McDonald's. I know the Sinead O'Connor, right? She ripped the thing.
Yes. R.I.P. Sinead.
Outside of that, yeah. I don't know. But again, I think I can really fly under the radar, so to speak. When Dustin returns tomorrow, he'll be talking it up. He'll be saying all these memorable episodes and characters, and Maddie, I know, loves it, and I mean, you and I will be here. Is this kind of between you and me now, and in terms of just gamesmanship and leading up, like, are you also going to say that you've never watched it?
No, I've watched it. I'm a fan. Absolutely.
Aficionado?
Maybe not to the extent of Dustin Bartholomew Nielson.
Like, you don't clear your Saturday night slate.
No, no, not a chance. But if there's a good host or
a good skit,
I'll follow up the next day and I'll watch.
It's Lorne Michaels, right? Kids in the Hall? Yeah.
It is Lorne Michaels.
See?
But I don't know. Like, I went in with a terrible strategy for our last draft, and it blew up in my face. I went with speech. I put emphasis on that, and I went in with villain coach and assistant coach. Yes. I'm like, you got to have those, and then worry about the rest, because there's so many good movie and TV coaches, and that blew up in my face. So I have to buckle down.
I think your drafting was fairly okay.
I think
we all know when the turn happened, I think, right? Hashtag justice for LTE. I said if anybody finishes below me, it's an indictment.
I have a formal complaint to file or something like that.
When you put the hand, I was like, oh, here we go. But then as it went on, we don't need to get all that.
No.
This will be interesting. That was draft number 1. Rich in controversy. I am kind of intrigued on how you're, do you even speak at all outside of you just selecting your picks?
I might have to.
I would just say you just put a gag order, a self-imposed gag order to kind of.
That might be the best way to go about this.
It's a shot call
this week. Yeah. So many great options for the SNL draft. Really, like, we're putting together a show. That's kind of the concept. It's not just like best of the best. You're putting together a show. How does this flow? Hopefully we get that message across to those who are voting. And like Bill Murray was great. Eddie Murphy was great. Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan, Jimmy Fallon in his time on SNL were absolutely tremendous.
Joe Balaneski says in the Nasty Chat, Tom Gazzola has to do an impersonation of all the picks that he makes. Following on the heels of your Rocky Balboa, I give the people what they want, man.
I can't. I love how Trev cut that video together and used my Rocky Balboa impersonation.
Yeah, that was money. That had to be seen. That was great. That was my favorite part, I think.
Great catch. Oh, no, it was the highlight. People saying we should have done an SCTV draft.
I like and respect SCTV. Obviously, it tugs on the heartstrings of Edmontonians because it was recorded here. I'm not going to lie. Like, I enjoyed parts of Kids in the Hall. I enjoyed parts of SCTV, like the Rick Moranis, the high school band with John Candy and Eugene Levy.
Like, who made the egg salad sandwiches or whatever.
That's hilarious. But there's other skits in SCTV. I'm like, what was that? I don't. But you could say the same thing about SNL, too.
I'd do an SCTV draft over an SNL draft just to get that on the record this morning. 6:44 in Edmonton. Time for a good, bad, and ugly? Are you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cobbled together a good, bad, and ugly from the weekend.
I have.
The good. What do you got?
I'm up first with the good. All right, let's go. I'm keeping it simple with good, bad, and ugly today. Good. What looked like a successful Grey Cup ending with Bozone Live's Jason Moss winning his first championship as a head coach in the CFL.
As a head coach, yes. Yeah. Congrats to him.
Yes.
A good Grey Cup both on and off the field. Yeah. I think this goes down into the, top 10 games you could probably maybe add in terms of finishing and everything?
And how hard was it to come off of last year's Grey Cup? That was a crazy game, too.
The storyline and Chad Kelly emerging and the Argos doing it. And at the time, the Bombers were looking for 3 in a row.
Right.
So that was more of a...
blocked field goals.
Yeah,
and
they're looking for 3 and 4 now.
But this one, I think, delivered. So that's my good.
Yeah. You? And look, it was close. I think I think that Montreal defensive line, too, they didn't win all the battles, but they won the war on the night. And they made a very important stop late on Caleros that kind of... put the ball back in Cody's hands. So I want to give a shout. Montreal defense again coming through. Of course, Cody doing what he did late. What a sequence of plays for him as well. Going deep on that third one. Just
ballsy. Great execution.
But he's come close. He's come close in taking the Bombers as well. I think his first win, he was 0-9, right? 0-10 against Caleros and the Bombers. So a little bit of something exercised there for one Cody Fajardo last night. My good, and I'm going to go, again, it was a busy weekend in sports with a lot of bright, shiny things, and I'll go to the brightest and shiniest, and that was Las Vegas and the Vegas Grand Prix Formula 1. Look, we all know that Max Verstappen's winning this thing. You got one more race, Abu Dhabi, yet to come. But this was new. This was fresh. This was something that we haven't seen before, and albeit we entered the weekend with the street sewer covers getting blasted off or whatever. Little embarrassing, but hey, what's Vegas without a little funny story, right? So that got taken care of, and for the remainder of the weekend, it seemed pretty fine. I didn't mind the race start times, actually, to be honest with you here.
Same.
Mountain. Like I kind of, again, for my selfish devices this weekend, it was perfect for me to kind of stay up late and. The people there and the phones out and the glitz and glamour. I knew one person on my followers list, I guess, of like friends and stuff on social media was there. She was there with a few friends. Nice. And I was just getting like, you live vicariously through their posts and everything, and just looked intense. So a great time, and maybe this leads to an Edmonton Sports Talk Vegas GP getaway.
I would love that.
Win your way in.
Well, the prices were ridiculous when they announced this race and they made everything available, and then you go on secondary markets and they just dropped off a cliff. I had someone, a follower, friend, if you will, acquaintance, that also seems to find their way down to all these events. And
yes.
It's like, aren't you like a secretary or something? Like, how are you in the Maldives? And, why? How did you get VIP access to the Las Vegas Grand Prix? Maybe the price was so good that
where are you getting all that vacation time?
She was able to. Yeah, I don't know. You're just like, how did they do it? Anyway, that's beside the point.
You're bad.
My bad. I will go back to Las Vegas for this one, and it's the winner, Max Verstappen, smack talking the race, saying it's 99% show and 1% sporting event, and then he was ripping. The essence, and he said it's a street track, and yes, it's cool, but it wasn't this. It's nowhere near as great as Spa and and Monza and this and that. And he went to great lengths to really just dump all over this race a couple of days ago before he subsequently won it. So I thought that was a bad look, and he didn't hold back. But I guess when you're the defending champ and on your way to another victory in championship season, you can say whatever the hell you want. And then he endears himself by saying Viva Las Vegas as Bieber was waving the checkered flag. So that's my bad.
My bad from the weekend, I guess I'll go to the Oilers.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's not ugly.
Oh.
It's bad because I still look. As Matt said earlier too, I think if they pot a couple of those chances in the first, perhaps things go a different way. I don't know. That was a day off for the Lightning, though, right? Like that was they did not. I mean, you had no Vasilevsky. The team hasn't been playing as good as the late. No. It was an afternoon game and a matinee game on the road in which you would usually say, "Oh, the Oilers, this is kryptonite," and it was the total opposite. They had it. And they let him off the hook. So a bad Saturday afternoon, I guess, for Edmonton Oilers fans down in Tampa. And again, just kind of coupled on that with the sledge hockey team as well, losing that championship. So bad for the Oilers in Tampa. They'll look to correct and right the ship later tonight in Sunrise, 5 o'clock puck drop. You will be hitting the air, Edmonton Sports Talk 3:30 tonight with the pregame show. And also join yourself after the show for the postgame texts, live coverage, all that good stuff. Everybody with their opinions, and
it's like a therapy session for some people.
It really is. Yeah, you should have a couch. You should have a long couch that nobody sits in. It's just there for the listener, right? Everybody takes a seat on the couch. Yeah. So my bad is the Oilers losing to the Lightning Saturday afternoon, and you're ugly.
The ugly is the Oilers' third period for me. Yeah, 4 goals allowed. Yes, the empty net or whatever, but that was an epic collapse. Someone in the nasty chat says Tom knows the season's over, and I can't disagree with that. I mean,
well, what do you? I think it was Trevor and I the other day looking at the wild card list. Mm-hmm. Just teams in the wild card now, top to the bottom. Yeah, I mean they're arguably the best out of the bunch.
They're 7 points back of a wild card spot.
Right, but just look at the teams ahead of them. They
should be better than all of them.
Should, yeah.
Are they? No. They have done nothing to earn that distinction. Nothing.
We're not talking division anymore.
No.
I get that.
But
are we not even talking playoff spot now, following a Saturday loss to the
I
Bolts
don't know.
here?
You look at Chris Knobloch, you listen to him, and he's 3 games into his tenure as head coach of the Oilers, and I think he's even going, oh, my God, what a mess. What have I done? Why did I accept? I'm just kidding. He's probably honored and looking at tackling the issues that are plaguing the Oilers right now, but even he's pointing out stuff that we're like, yeah, they're not learning. They're not figuring it out. They should know better, but they don't. And they continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. That's why they have 11 points in 16 games now.
Barbershop Window says McDavid is this year's Huberto.
No, you can't go there with that.
Yeah.
That's extreme. But I understand the sentiment there, too.
And continue to work your trade proposals in at the Nasty Chat. We will solve this thing. We will come together. We will get a proposal on the table that makes sense for all parties involved. I just know it. My ugly will be the Martin Brundle walk.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Well, I loved it.
Stood him
I
up.
loved it, but I was home alone. I was slightly inebriated, and I couldn't help feeling slightly embarrassed. I was blushing. I was turning red. I was like, no, don't do that. Don't walk. No.
Yeah.
Don't. No, that's Zlatan Ibrahimovic. No, don't. I think he just told Chad Ochocinco to move out of the way at one point. Like he was walking.
Ochocinco would have been great to stop and talk to.
Those Martin Brundle walks are entertaining.
They are.
At regular races, yeah. I just kind of but this one, it's Vegas. They're all dressed up. It's nightlife. And I was like, okay, well, this is going to be like, you don't want to miss this one. It's the first one, right? First GP there. So it's his first Martin Brundle walk. But he's like swimming upstream, wasn't he? Like, I don't understand why everybody's going the other way. And he kept trying to push himself. And nobody wanted to talk to him.
No.
Nobody. No. And he was seeing some people, which again, I'll admit, I didn't know. But usually when Martin Brundle puts that microphone in front, people usually stop it up. But there was people no. And he was just getting shut down.
Shaq say 2 words to him?
Shaq just said Lewis Hamilton, I think, and then walked away. And Shaq denied him twice or thrice, I want to say.
I admire and appreciate
it. It doesn't, that's a tough gig.
It is hard. But he's made it his thing. And usually when they're everywhere else, people play along.
Yeah. But this is Vegas, and it's just
and the American celebrity and the overall mindset, not everybody, obviously, compared to other celebs from different parts of the globe, there's more of that stuck-up kind of, who are you? I don't want to talk to you. I don't think that a lot of, using that walk, for example, as a focal point, I don't think they get it.
No, they don't. No.
And they don't want to get it. They don't want to play along.
And I don't even think I want them to get it. That's part of the
part of the fun
of the ugliness. But he knows too. I think he's got no shame. He's just kind of
it's part of his charm.
Man, I find that entertaining. That's one of the best things going in sport. I know there's the Lee Corso putting on the college game day and he puts on the mascot.
Yeah,
They did that on the Grey Cup yesterday
David
too.
Sanchez was
Sanchez put on the Alouette.
Yeah.
I like those little things, but the Brundle walk in Vegas. Oh.
Yeah, ouch.
I'll watch that on repeat for the rest of my life. Good morning, fellas. This comes in from Twitter Mary. Good morning, Twitter Mary. I think she was stateside last week. I'll give you a conch there, Twitter Mary. Nice to see you. All ahead of Darren Dreger joining us at the top of the hour here. The new coach bump was short-lived, but Oilers get lucky with Barkov out, and that is one thing that we'll discuss later in the Orange and Blue Breakfast. Sasha Barkov probably not suiting up for the Panthers this evening down in Sunrise. But Darren Dreger from TSN will help us set it up and recap the weekend coming up just after 7 o'clock. Around 7:20, 7:30-ish this morning, we'll have a Cool Bet hotline of the day. Perhaps Mr. Lean, perhaps Mr. Perfect Posture, Captain Hunch. We'll get something on the docket today for a Cool Bet hotline. Mike Tenier as well from the Messenger. He'll be by just before 8 o'clock, recapping everything that went on in the National Football League and what's to come tonight as well. A mouth-watering matchup this evening for the Monday Nighter, which sees the Eagles visiting Arrowhead to take on the Chiefs. Ooh. Should be a good one. Join me down at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge tonight. We'll be doing the grand prize giveaway. Trip for two to Los Angeles on the line to catch the Rams and the Browns. But Eagles and Chiefs, a great way to cap Week 11 in the National Football League tonight. So join me, Central Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. Kind of easy trivia. 3 questions to me as well on the way just after 8 o'clock. Ryan Rishaug with the Got Your Back morning mandate. We'll get Shoggy's, you can take the temperature, take the pulse, do all that kind of stuff over the Saturday afternoon, the matinee that it was in Tampa, and ahead of tonight's game against the Panthers. And we'll get you set for the Oilers and Panthers with an orange and blue breakfast prior to the wrap at around 8:40 this morning. Anything you wanted to add from the opening hour there? Everything's you're good. Monday morning is
that was a quick
feel
hour.
Good. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was just cracking the
2
back
more
a
left.
little bit there.
Cracking the back.
Yeah.
Did you chiropractor?
No,
Do you ever go to them?
I should.
Have you been to one
Never.
before? Never once?
No. I have a friend who's a chiropractor, and I've got a lower back issue, and I play hockey with said friend, and I say, hey, Callie, take a look at this. And he's like, I can't. We're in the locker room. I said, come on, man. He's like, just come to my clinic.
Yeah.
I've never done it.
What do you what are you waiting for?
I don't
Well,
know.
You got the pain. You might as well try it.
Discomfort more so than pain.
But you can get away with the discomfort by visiting. He'd probably give you a good rate.
Yeah.
Maybe a free.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do is get him to do like a little session in the
He
locker
wants
room.
you in the.
Yeah.
I see.
He's like, I can't do it here.
I
I need a flat surface. I'm like, well, there's a bench.
You need the money.
Put it on my tab, Callie.
Go do it. Get
Yeah,
it
I
cracking.
should.
Couldn't hurt. They increase your they before you're like, oh, look this way, and you're like, and then they crack it, and you're like, whoa, I can turn my neck all the way around.
Damn.
It's amazing. I
Okay,
never
okay.
used to be for it, but you don't want to go every week or whatever, right? Like you don't want to get too addicted to it.
Isn't that the thing? Like, if you go once, you have to keep going, or no?
Well,
Is that a
there is one.
misconception?
Well, if you get your teeth cleaned, right? They're like, oh, your teeth will get dirty now. We have to keep cleaning them. Like
Yeah.
if you never clean your teeth,
Well, you should clean your teeth.
no, but you know what I'm saying. Like you
Yeah.
got to keep. It's you crack the back, and then you're like, oh, it feels good, and then after a while, you kind of like regress back to. But you do have to go for like an adjustment, I guess.
Okay.
That's like a tune-up on the car, or whatever. Right? Like, that's how they get you,
Like an
man. You
oil
go in
change?
once, and then they'll keep getting you back
Okay.
in.
Okay. Gotcha.
Again, just never go in. Never get your car checked. Never get your teeth looked at. Never that back. It's
You know
it'll be
what's
fine.
funny is like the teeth. I gotta notice that I have to go in for my teeth cleaning right away, and my vehicle needs an oil change. So everything
Just
you're
don't
saying
go.
right now is
Just
just
don't-
is
If you
so
don't
relevant.
go, they won't figure out anything wrong with them. Like
Of course, just out of sight, out of mind,
just-
right?
Exactly.
That's good for
It's all
everybody.
fine. You know, just
Don't address any issues.
give it a kick. You know, it might fix itself.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Oilers are 5-10-1. How have you guys not heard from that lunatic that kept asking him to hire Jim Benning?
We don't take his calls.
Is that do you want to?
Yeah,
what's this
well,
one?
at our old shop, unfortunately, Terry, as he goes by, would call in, and I think with Hernan, I finally just said to Hernan, I'm like, just don't take that guy's calls. He's an idiot. He's just trying to stir it up. And he got our friend Reed Wilkins game 1 of this year. We don't take calls on EST Oil Stream pre and post game show, which I don't mind the calls. We used to get some pretty good ones, and especially in the playoffs. And this Terry individual is just creating a poop sandwich. So no, we don't have to hear from him, thankfully, in his stupid takes. I know exactly who that texter is talking about.
You do?
Yeah, and unfortunately, when the Oilers were eliminated in Game 6 against the Golden Knights, the post-game Ranger, who was our post-game show producer, did not know about Terry and was like, oh, we got Terry on the line. He's been sitting there waiting since like 5 minutes left in the game. I was like, I hope to God it's not who he says it is. And sure enough, it was. I'm like, all right, dude, we got to say goodbye after the stupid rant. And then that was that. So it's a shtick, I believe. It's dumb.
Yeah, you never know.
And unfortunately, we haven't been burnt by it. But yeah, that's the worst caller ever. Let's just say.
Worst caller ever.
By choice. Yeah.
Um,
Don't miss him.
Let's hit a sports rewind if we can, Trev, and then we'll get back here. Darren Dreger will be joining us just after 7 o'clock. Your Hockey Insider this morning brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. We'll get back-to-back Grey Cup losses for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Cody Fajardo passing for 290 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Alouettes take the 110th Grey Cup 28-24 over Winnipeg. Fajardo also named the game's most outstanding player. Over to the NFL, where the Broncos win again. They'd score 12 fourth-quarter points to beat Minnesota 21-20. You can join me tonight at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge when the Eagles take on the Chiefs. We'll be giving away a trip for 2 to L.A. to catch the Rams and Browns. The Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Centric Casino Fort Road, where every day is game day. NHL action yesterday saw the Penguins shut out Vegas 3-0. Leafs clipped the Wild 4-3. Ducks folded the Blues 3-1. Oilers continue a 4-game East Coast swing tonight with a stop in Florida. Join Tom Gazzola this afternoon at 3:30 for the Oil Stream pregame show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Oilers Panthers, one of 7 games around the NHL tonight. Toronto Raptors with a 142-113 win over the Pistons. 8 games around the association tonight. The Raptors visit the Magic tomorrow for in-season tournament play. Sports Rewind brought to you by Universal Rewind. If your motor is performing like the Oilers, it might be time for a rewind. If only we could rewind the Oilers season.
The Nielson Show with Dustin Nielson.
That's the one I want.
The Nielson Show with Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Dip with my pride, with my bone and get, boy. I don't even want to battle, y'all, no remorse. I switch this game up on y'all, not a matter of choice. My only option for getting rid of haters, standing around watching, the emulators. Stunner, apple burner, like 2 chains. Number one, my doors go up, your eyes froze up. When them dimes step out, your mouth close up. In a city like mine, it ain't hard to find a king, cause my name is written on everything that you've ever seen. Suckers wanna battle and they stay toe up. I don't have to try hard cause they broke from the flow up. This your disgrace, look at your face. Stay out my lane, stay in your place. Give me 1 beat at a time, finish you in 2 rhymes. No matter of fact, with a view and half a line. Beat it, dip with my squad, ride with my squad. Come on and get high with my squad. Dip with my squad, ride with my squad. You know it's right.
7:03, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Lieutenant Eric, Tom Gazzola, and YouTube Trev with you here on the Nielson Show. 3 degrees for a high this afternoon, mix of sun and cloud. Still doesn't look like any snow or flurries action until next Monday here in the forecast. Daytime highs anywhere from -3 to +8 for the week ahead. Just ahead of Darren Dreger here as well for Pro-Am Sports. He'll be joining us momentarily. Tom Gazzola, of course, in for Dustin Nielson. Dusty, returning from the Hammer, should be back tomorrow morning here with us for a Creed Tuesday on the Nielson Show. And we welcome in Darren Dreger of TSN this morning, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned fan gear and fan cave specialists, located on St. Albert Trail, 1 block north of the Yellowhead, or online. You can visit them, proamsports.ca. Like you, Tom, they're fans too. Good morning, Darren. How are you doing, and how did you enjoy Grey Cup Sunday?
Yeah, I'm doing well. It was a relatively quiet Grey Cup Sunday for me, but it was a day of football, right? I mean, it started early in the day with all the NFL games, and then drifted into the pregame coverage for the Grey Cup. And I mean, how can you not be entertained by that game, aside from the outcome? And for me, I loved it because I do have a team in the Canadian Football League. And of course, it's the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I come from Saskatchewan and make good sense. But they've been out of that equation for a long, long time. It is not in my DNA to cheer for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It just is not. And I worked a long time in Winnipeg with the late, great Cal Murphy. I mean, there were some great stories, great individuals with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, but in the Grey Cup, sorry. So when Philpott scored that touchdown that late in the game to turn it for the Montreal Alouettes, I was like, all right, here we go. But I was sitting by myself. Like back in the day, we used to have these grand Grey Cup parties, right? Mm-hmm. Living on the prairies. I mean, everybody was so invested and everybody would bring appies and it was just a festival. Here I am sitting in my boxers in my lounge chair, just watching this football game by myself. So that was the height of my entertainment on a Sunday.
No smoked oysters? I mean, I know times have changed, but is there one like Grey Cup tradition that you kind of carried through? Is there, a pinch of rye or something like that, Dregs, that you kind of get into for Grey Cup Sunday? Any tradition at all?
No, not anymore. And I'm embarrassed to say that because it used to be. Like, I can remember one where somebody brought like these deep fried mushrooms. Ew. Like, I mean, the appetizers here, not the crazy stuff. Okay. Like legit battered mushrooms. And I just went, I don't know, man. I like the mushrooms, but when they're battered and deep fried on top of that. So that was one of the more wild ones. Smoked oysters, you made me laugh because for sure, always had those, or the pickled onions.
Oh, yeah.
Or the 7-layer dips.
Oh, yeah.
All of the crazy stuff. Oh, yeah. I've been there and I've done that.
Join us maybe next year out in Vancouver, Dreger. We can have maybe make a weekend out of it if you know what I mean.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, well, and hopefully the Riders will be there too. We can kind of share that common denominator. Back to the hockey though. Oilers kicking off a 4-game Eastern trip Saturday afternoon in Tampa. We've talked about it a little this morning. I mean, there's first period was good, second period, yeah, and then the third period, ka-thump, and we're back to where we started after that.
Yeah.
New coach bump, I guess you could argue, in the week it was with the Islanders and Kraken. What did you take from Saturday, Darren, and what can fans expect? I mean, coming in, again, this isn't an easy trip by any stretch. You got a Florida team tonight down in Sunrise who have been climbing up the charts. What did you take from Saturday, and what can fans expect tonight from this Panthers squad?
Well, as cliche as it is, it's another glaring example of how ready you have to be to play right from puck drop to the final buzzer. I mean, you take your foot off the pedal against a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have admittedly gone through their own kind of struggles of late. They're going to be hungry, and we saw the star power of the Tampa Bay Lightning in abundance. And Florida is basically the same thing. So if you're not able to play as consistently as you have to from puck drop to the end of the game, then it's going to be a tough one for the Edmonton Oilers. But I think that there's enough positive, there's enough takeaway, and it is the coach bump to a point. And I'm not going to, continue to pile on Jay Woodcroft. That's not my intent. What I mean by saying this is at least we're seeing some ownership here by the players, taking ownership for the changes that were made. Two good men lost their jobs here because the players couldn't commit to playing the way that you have to play every single night for a full game. And so we saw a little bit more of that, but I don't think that any game that they played since the big news and the firing of Woodcroft has been flawless by any stretch of the imagination. There's a ton of work that has to get done, but there have been some positives, so we'll see how it goes the rest of their trip.
Good morning, Dregs. Tom Gazzola here.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, these post-game shows that we've been doing all season long have been epic, and this is coming on the heels of some bad years and then some really good years. Obviously, there's a lot of suggestions for what the Oilers need to fix and what Kenny Holland and Jeff Jackson and I guess Paul Coffey should be doing. Dregs, do you get a sense that help is on the way immediately? And we're hearing about goaltending and the Oilers heavily scouting the Habs, and I'm looking at those 3 goalie options in Montreal going, really, this is what it's come down to? Like, where are we at with that? Yeah. What's Ken Holland doing, Dregs? Because this is a predicament, certainly.
Sure, Tom. Well, as was reported, I mean, there was back and forth between Ken Holland and his old pal, Doug Armstrong, the St. Louis Blues, and Bennington would have been the target there. Mm-hmm. Now, we can argue how much better he would make the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, he's won. He's a proven winner. But you bring it to the space that we're in today, and is he going to be that much of an upgrade if they were to revisit? I think the cost of the future that would have to go along with something like that is what's probably prohibitive from Edmonton's perspective. It's one thing to throw in draft picks or prospect players, but you've got to be sure that what's coming back the other way is going to be a difference maker, right? Yeah. Because chances are, if you're acquiring a goaltender, you'd sure like to get Jack Campbell as part of the equation going out the other way. Well, you're going to have to pay for that. And that payment is going to come in the way of a first-round draft pick or, again, a top prospect. And I think we can appreciate why Ken, even though he's in the final year of his contract, doesn't want to leave the organization in a tough situation for the future. As for Montreal, Tom, it's a curious trio in Montreal.
Yeah.
The Canadians would like to keep Sam Montembeault. He's in a contract year. He's probably getting frustrated because they're going with the 3 goalie rotation with Jake Allen and Caden Primo. And so Montemo isn't building up his contract file to a point where he's going to make the money they probably deserves to make. He's a good goaltender, French-Canadian. He's a real good fit for the Canadians in general. So I don't see him as being a likely target. Have we seen enough in the National Hockey League from Caden Primo? They've done a nice job developing him in the organization in Montreal, but we just haven't seen enough of the body of the work yet. So again, there's uncertainty. Could you have a good 1-2 in Stu Skinner and Caden Primo? I don't know. Maybe. But is that good enough to pull the trigger? Probably not. Detroit's got 3. I mean, there are options, and some of what we've already talked about will probably heighten in the days ahead, because as we know, traditionally you get to U.S. Thanksgiving and then things start to tweak a little bit. And the general manager's just left Toronto after Hall of Fame weekend and a face-to-face meeting. So sometimes that can kind of provoke some action as well.
Mm-hmm. I just, with the returns you're mentioning here, and we got people on our YouTube chat and our text line. I mean, they do the work, Darren. They're out there. They're thinking of trade proposals 24/7. They're going every little minute detail trying to figure something out. But I just, as you mentioned, the risk involved in what you would have to give up for any of these names, I mean, just don't really jump off the page in terms, yes, they could,
right?
But there's really no at all solidification on any of those guys to come in here and do better for what you would, as you say, you'd have to give up, especially if you're offering Campbell and trying to pay somebody to take him as well. It's too much.
Well, unless you're really willing to be creative. What about Blackwood? Like the San Jose Sharks are not in the business of winning. That's abundantly evident. And I'd say the same thing in the Philadelphia Flyers, even though the Flyers continue to beat teams that they shouldn't beat. But that's not in the best interest of the Flyers as they try to renovate their foundation. Could there be something in a bigger picture with the Philadelphia Flyers that could entice the Edmonton Oilers? We know that there's some question marks around Carter Hart and everything that goes into that. Mm-hmm. But is that just a non-starter? Or is there a reason to engage with Danny Briere and the Philadelphia Flyers? Because, it could go deeper than that. I keep looking at the Oilers core. It's not just about goaltending. Yeah, you need a save. I mean, I can appreciate that. But it's team defense. It's having the right core players that are willing to play and play the way you need them to play for a full 60 minutes. So could a Scotty Lawton or something like that, help the Oilers in a bigger kind of capacity as well? So there's all kinds of scenarios, and I sound like a YouTube fan here that we can connect the dots to. But at the end of the day, making the money work is what is always the most challenging. It has to be dollar in, dollar out, and that becomes problematic.
Dregs, I'll throw another one at you outside of this market. The comment about Patrick Laine being or nobody is bigger than the Blue Jackets after he got healthy scratched. Is there trouble brewing there in Columbus? Because I know it hasn't gone well for Laine this year, but all of a sudden you're getting Vincent saying that about Laine, and I'm going, that's not a good thing to hear.
No. Well, the only way it makes sense if you're Pascal Vincent is if you have complete and absolute support from your general manager and senior management. There's no way he's healthy scratching Patrick Laine or dumping Johnny Gaudreau on the bench for an extended period of time. It's not a relatively inexperienced coach. I mean, he's coached a long time, but this is his first NHL head coaching opportunity. This guy isn't trying to lead with the gavel here and slam it on the desk. We're playing my way or you're not playing. It's not that simple when you're dealing with star players like this. But I've said this before, so I'm repeating myself publicly here. If I'm ownership, I'm starting to question the direction here a little bit.
Yeah.
You're in the business of winning games. And prior to the start of the year, Columbus fancied themselves as being perhaps a playoff contending team. Well, it doesn't look like they're even remotely close to that. But they're sitting these guys and benching these guys in close games, in one-goal games. Patrick Laine and Johnny Gaudreau can flip a game in 30 seconds. I mean, that's the skill set that those players possess. So it feels a little heavy-handed to me, but I can assure you that it's top priority in terms of the insider guys this week to try and figure out what the hell's going on there. Because at some point, if you're Patrick Laine, are you not going to say, hey, if I'm not good enough to play in Columbus, then trade me?
Yeah.
Trade me. Here's my list. Here's where I'm willing to go. Let's expedite this process because it's not doing you any good to have me in the press box, and it's not doing me any good to be sitting in the press box, and I'm not willing to play the way you want me to play. That sounds extreme, but this isn't Patrick Laine's first rodeo in this regard either.
True. That's a good point. Darren Dreger with us, Hockey Insider from TSN, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports this morning, your locally owned fan cave and fan cave specialists, St. Albert Trail, 1 block north of the Yellowhead, or online, proamsports.ca. A couple, positive stories here, Darren, just to wrap up. I just want to get your thoughts on Sweden and what the NHL went through last week. Of course, the Global Series going there. And if you can, and when I saw this originally, I was like, I'm sure Darren is behind this somewhere. Austin Matthews in Mexico City. How much pull do you have in that one for going down there to work during the winter, Darren? How involved are you in that Mexico City talk?
Yeah, not very involved, sad to report. And I don't often campaign for big trips like the Sweden trip. I've had my fair share with World Championships and whatnot. I don't necessarily do the outdoor game circuit anymore. Been there, done that. If the National Hockey League is going to Mexico City, you can darn well be sure that I am going to be going. I don't know what I'll be doing there. Well, I do know what I'll be doing there. I'm not sure how much will be related to hockey. And look, I also don't think it's tongue in cheek where Matthews is concerned. When I think of the global building of the brand and of the sport, hey, I enjoyed the Global Series in Sweden, but talk about a captivated audience. I mean, There's so many great Swedish players in the National Hockey League, and that's been that way forever. That selling out and just captivating the audience the way they did in Sweden. I mean, come on, you can do that in several European countries. Still loved it. I mean, what we saw from Willie Nylander yesterday in scoring in dramatic fashion in overtime. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that for Nylander and his family. But is that really growing the game? Growing the game is going to spots where hockey would never be. Mm-hmm. So logistically, scientifically, could they make it work? I mean, the hockey gurus or the ice-making gurus of the National Hockey League, they have the facilities. They have the wherewithal to pull off, build an ice just about anywhere on the planet. So when one of your superstars makes a comment like that, maybe you do have to poke around and pay attention and see if it's even viable.
Interesting times. Another Edmonton sports talk trip maybe on the cards, hey, for Mexico City. But Darren, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of your week.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
See you, Dregs.
Darren Dreger, TSN. Once again, Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned fan gear and fan cave specialists. You can find them St. Albert Trail, just a block north of the Yellowhead, or you can visit them online, World Wide Web, proamsports.ca. They're fans like us, Tom.
Yeah, they are.
They're just like you and me and you.
Jack and Ken are jersey geeks like me, too.
Yeah, so you can go in there and really get down to the
nitty-gritty.
Oh, that's a nice jersey. Yes, but the fiber count, and then you can get into the details.
Jack, Ken, and myself, when we had the client mixer here last month, we got into the Heritage Classic jersey, and Jack and Ken were telling me about like the authentic one, the felt or the wool that they use on the Oilers jersey, like it doesn't wash well, and there might be shrinkage issues, and it might create some concern.
That's the detail you want.
And then on the fan version, it doesn't have that issue, but they're like, there's a bit of a trickiness to if you're getting it crested, what kind of material is used for the cresting. Like we did a deep dive that most people would like listen for 2 seconds and be like, I can't do this.
Well, look, it's not easy. Everything's a degree of difficulty, but I could sell a T-shirt to you, right? But if you're going to buy merch, you want a specialist that knows.
Those guys know.
Much like your conversation here. Yeah. I mean, that's the detail.
Those are your guys.
Get them to hook you up. Pro-Am Sports, once again, 1 block north of the Yellowhead, or online, proamsports.ca. They got it all, caps, jerseys, toques, mitts, the whole bit. Any team you want, any sport you're looking for, proamsports.ca. Mike Tenier will be joining us just before 8 o'clock as well, just to hum over the NFL Week 11 picture as well. I know Grey Cup taking priority for most people in this country, especially yesterday, but NFL does continue to truck along. We got a heavy Monday nighter to tee up as well tonight between the Chiefs and Eagles. You can get us at Paris Jewelers Inbox, 780-218-9999, or on the Nasty Chat on YouTube. Darren seems too excited to go to Mexico City. Can you say drug mule? Yeah. When we get there, and that comes in from Greg Lockhart. Greg, I hope your boy is doing well. He was Fox was in the Stollery last week, and he couldn't meet us for pints there on Friday. But Greg, hope everything's doing good there. The Mexico City stuff, for the purposes of our show here, and just kind of the tongue-in-cheek funness that we try to have, that would be great. I would love Austin Matthews going down to Mexico. I mean, the hockey insiders down there, doing things, going on, staying at a resort or something, all inclusive.
Yeah,
just those Mexico scenarios, right? I mean,
if it was in Mexico City, I've never been. My brother did go. That'd be interesting because it's not it's not the resort area. I'm sure they have super nice hotels, obviously, but it is a monster city. I think it's like upwards of 20 million people that live in around Mexico City. That would be cool. Dregs makes a good point. You want to grow the game. You go somewhere where it doesn't have much of a foothold and maybe try to create some excitement. Mexico, in terms of population, I think it's pretty damn big. And it is North America. And it's kind of like hockey's like a non-factor in Mexico, understandably. But that would be cool.
It'd be neat for a one-off, and you'd be dreaming a little bigger tthan, again, as Dreger pointed out, going to your Swedens or your Finlands or your...
Because Sweden, Finland, Czech Republic, like, you're tapping into the well. Like, it's always there.
Where else would you like to see the National Hockey League go? 780-218-9999 or in the nasty chat. I mean, like an Australian thing would be pretty cool.
They did that in the preseason.
Preseason,
and it went really, really well. Yeah. Dennis Bernstein joined us from Australia on Hello Hockey early in the season, and he said it was unbelievable, the amount of NHL jerseys that people were wearing. The buy-in was great for those games, and so I think they're going to be going back to Australia at some point in the near future. But, that would be pretty cool. They tried the China thing, and it did work, but the logistics for the teams were tough, from what I recollect and what I was told from those who went. I think Boston was there, Calgary was there. The logistics needed to be ironed out a little bit better. But, you need to go. Like, look at what the NBA's done in China. I know China, obviously super controversial and with the geopolitical side of things, but
it's just, I always think too, like hooping a ball, right? And and for hockey, and I'm thinking Mexico City, like you got to you need the infrastructure for a sport like hockey is a little more demanding. Yeah, I guess argue. And
Dregs is
not
right.
To say
though.
They can't do it, but
there's 2 ice trucks now for these outdoor games, and he's right. Like they can basically build ice anywhere.
They've come a long way from
So I'm sure they could find a way as long as the sun's not melting the ice and they can keep it covered. And
it'd have to be indoor. There's no way you're playing the thing outside. That would be something.
You have a roof that keeps the sun out. Maybe I don't.
I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I'm here for the strange and the wild. We were talking last week too in the hangout and everything about there was that report about switching the overtimes and taking out the red line.
10-minute overtimes. I think the BCHL is doing that.
Gets people talking.
In 1991, I believe it was, the NHL played an outdoor game in the parking lot of Caesar's Palace. The ice was terrible, and they said a bunch of locusts came onto the ice in the third period.
Guys got hurt
30 years ago.
Pestilence,
So I think if you could build an arena in the early 90s outdoors in Las Vegas in the desert, by now you could probably figure out a way to make it work in Mexico City.
Hey, guys, I bet you that Japan would be an excellent experience for the league. That comes in from J Mauve.
They have done that before.
Okay.
Late 90s.
Late 90s?
San Jose went over there. They converted I think it was an Olympic-style pool into a rink.
Yes, that could be.
Yeah.
You freeze the water and
I think
it was
San Jose and Calgary that went over there in 98, 99, somewhere around there. They have done that.
Someone texts in Hockey Night in Dubai. That would obviously be something that, look, everybody's going there for money. They got money. This will make it happen. Why not revisit the Japan? 99? That's a long time ago. Like, why you go there once?
It was on the heels of Nagano.
Okay.
Or maybe it was 97 going into Nagano.
Nagano was 98, eh? Or was that? Yeah.
So it was late 90s.
Okay. But you do it once, and then you don't, in the spirit of growing the game, a follow-up would have been nice. Hey, how you doing? We remember when we were here last?
That was 25 years ago.
Normology says, worked in Australia for a couple months. NHL is pretty popular there. All the games happen at around lunchtime, and that's a good way of looking at it. It's much like the Vegas Grand Prix. Again, you're doing it for, the viewership of. But, I mean, watching games around lunchtime in Australia as a hockey fan, that wouldn't be too bad.
That's cool.
Get your nights.
Yeah.
Kind of do whatever you want there. But 780-218-9999 is the number to text the Paris Jewelers inbox. Come after that text of the day. It's $20 to A&W right now. And A&W, of course, those 3 new Crunch-tastic choices. The Nashville Hot Chicken Cruncher, which I've had. The Chubby Chicken Cruncher, which I haven't. And the BLT Chicken Cruncher, which I haven't as well. But you can try the new Chicken Cruncher sandwiches today at all A&W locations. And it's $20 to A&W online for text of the day. So come and get it. 780-218-99. It's the Paris Jewelers inbox. Hockey night on the moon. That comes in from Pubs Cheaterson.
Brilliant.
They could probably drive one of those trucks up there,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be more concerned about heat stroke and full hockey equipment playing outside Mexico. Comes in from KR this morning as well.
Do it at night, right up in the mountains.
Like the Grand Prix, right? Yeah, up in the... it'd be free. Yeah, you'd have to, dress up.
Yeah.
It gets cold down there. You're the Southwest motif type of expert, right? You know this.
Hey, it gets chilly.
Yeah.
What was it, like 50, 60 degrees in Vegas? That's
a good point.
That's like mid to late or high teens.
Well, an outdoor
Celsius.
game in Mexico City at night.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty neat, actually. You get the lights going. You could, I don't know. Maybe
Make it
there's
happen.
something there. Alaska. Mark Z says in the nasty chat. Dubai, I'd like to see Japan or Korea. Tequila and hockey would be good in Mexico. It comes in from George on the nasty chat. And Greg says, thanks for the well wishes. Everybody, Fox is doing well, and his stoma is healing properly. His spirits are up, and he was excited when his best friend Reese came over to watch the Oilers game versus Tampa. Nice to hear, Greg, and good thoughts for Fox here moving forward as well. Nasty chat is humming this morning. You can get involved at YouTube as well. You can listen to us on the TuneIn radio app as well. Just search Edmonton Sports Talk. Give us a favorite, a like, I guess. Click the heart. What does Rishaug call them? The love button?
He calls it the love button.
I don't know.
He's a weird guy.
Can quiz him about that later on in hour 3 this morning. But I guess it is now time for the cool bet hotline. Maybe I'll do a sports update for Park Mazda. Let's do that.
Yeah.
We'll hit maybe I think Mr. Lean's in the bullpen.
Is he ready to go?
He's doing something. He's walking around. He's not
Stirring
sleeping. I know
about.
that. But I'd like to see him. Hey,
He's all business today.
Wouldn't mind him for a minute if he could. But cool bet hotline of the day coming up next. First, a look at your sports, and it's back-to-back Grey Cup losses for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as Cody Fajardo was named the 110th Grey Cup MVP. He passed for 290 yards and 3 touchdowns. Alouettes take La Coupe de Gras 28-24 over Winnipeg. Denver Broncos win again. They score 12 fourth-quarter points to beat Minnesota 21-20. Join me at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge tonight as Week 11 in the NFL wraps up with the Eagles take on the Chiefs. We'll also be giving away a trip for 2 to LA to catch the Rams and Browns. The Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Centric Casino Ford Road, where every day is game day. Oilers continue a 4-game East Coast swing tonight with a stop in Florida. Join Tom Gazzola this afternoon, 3:30, for the Oil Stream pregame show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's one of 7 games around the NHL tonight. Raptors with a 142-113 win over the Pistons. 8 games in the NBA tonight. The Raptors are back in action tomorrow when they visit the Magic for in-season tournament play. This sports update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and Mitch Lewicki. In his beer league, Mitch has never lost a game. He just ran out of time.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as newborn 8-pound, 6-ounce Mitch Lewicki. You can picture grown-up Mitch, or teenage Mitch, or bearded Mitch, or whoever you want.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
The Nielson Show with Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Party Monday, hey?
Yeah.
YouTube Trips loves this stuff, hey?
He's
He's
just
taking back to his
going
clubbing days.
You mean Charles?
Charles down in Pincher Creek, hitting the clubs. Showing this underneath, hey, the whole time.
This is amazing. Matthew's hiding his dance moves.
Well, he can't hear
He's
it.
toe
I
tapping.
don't dance. He's not even. Lieutenant Eric,
Buzzkill.
Tom Gazzola,
I've never been a dancer.
Mr. Lean here. Matt Iwanek joins us on the Nielson Show. Not Mr. Lean. Yes, Mr.
3-0
Hotline of the day.
3-0.
When Dustin is away, right?
3-0 with the hotline of
3-0
the day.
hotline.
Nailed it on Friday.
Amazing.
Said Canada win for the hotline. The EST parlay.
Now, that wasn't Friday, though. That was Saturday
It moved
morning.
to Saturday. But the parlay draw didn't happen. Grey Cup blew it.
I know.
Both of them.
It was
the Rouge
the
didn't
Rouge,
happen,
I know.
and
He-
we didn't get the
Stupid.
Well, we also didn't get the under.
Oh, that's right.
The Cody Fajardo touchdown pass at the
Yes.
end.
And it was the
It's over.
Fajardo. That's what put you
That
over.
put
Yeah,
it
yeah,
over,
that's what I
which
figured. Yeah.
I was glad that we lost for two reasons, not just because of the Rouge. If the Owls don't win that game, and we missed out because of the Rouge, I would have been mad at Tommy for that one.
Well, his campaign would have taken off.
Tommy would have
after
just
that, yeah.
he threw this in there, wants this Rouge, and it would have blown it.
I have
But
no
He was
comment.
Hotline of the
slobbering
day.
over that outcome. I know it.
3-0.
Yeah, okay.
3-0.
3-0. So,
3-0.
you are a savant in our midst. This is
When it
just-
comes to the hotline,
if you want
yes.
free money, this is the guy that takes you to the promised land. It's easy.
I know where I'm going with it, but also we need to build an Edmonton Sports Talk parlay for today, and we'll do it based on the Edmonton Oilers. So we're not going to go as crazy as we did on Friday. I got a couple of things, but I want to throw it up to the nasty chat as well as Paris Jewelers inbox just to make sure. Am I missing something? Should we do something a little different? Should we tweak it in a certain way? But for the hotline of the day, I'm going to Leon Draisaitl shooting tonight. Over 3.5 shots is plus money, plus 130. 4 of the last 6 games he's played in, he's had 4 shots or more. Based on the performance that the Oilers had, the fact that if you just look at it, the Lightning top 6 defeated the Oilers top 6. I would expect that, especially Connor and Leon, ready to fly tonight against those Panthers. So the hotline of the day, Leon Draisaitl, over 3.5 shots on goal. You get that at CoolBet. That's the hotline of the day. Now for the parlay.
Here we go.
Okay, so I'm going to take the Oilers in regulation. Or not regulation, just straight up Oilers win. Money
Straight
line.
up Oilers win. Okay.
Take that one. As I just said, when it came to, there's 2 ways we could do this about. And again, throwing this into the nasty chat in the Paris Jewelers inbox. I'm expecting Connor and Leon to have better games today. I don't think that they could come out after a game where the Edmonton Oilers put up how many goals? And 0 points from Connor and Leon in that game.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at Connor and Leon over 1.5 points each, along with the Oilers to win. Or do we go Connor 2 points and Leon a goal tonight? Very basic. Yeah. I don't think we need to do much more. But do we go with Oilers win plus Connor and Leon both having 2 points tonight? Or Oilers win, McDavid with 2 points, Leon with a goal tonight?
Edmonton has won 4 of the last 5 meetings against Florida.
Yeah, we were talking about that on the Oilers stream on Friday.
Yep.
They had, and you went even further than that. The Oilers actually had done really well in Florida.
They've one loss since 2002 in Florida. One loss. They lost in 2018.
And there's no way I don't see Connor and Leon having offensive production-wise such poor games back to back.
They're 11-1 since 2002 in Florida.
7-2-1 the Panthers are over the last 10.
Yep.
Sitting second in the div.
But we're betting on the Oilers to win. Like, it's the Edmonton Sports Talk parlay. We're not going to bet on the Oilers to lose this game.
Well, some of the nasty chat would be
well,
given. No, I hear what you mean.
fair.
You're trying
No, I
to bring
get
a positive
that.
light to it all.
So what? Like, and that's just again. I kind of want to see where everyone wants to go with this. Penner's Pancakes saying, let's start hammering the over. I'm assuming over. He's going. Oh no, he's saying thumbs up. Never mind. Hit that thumbs up button / subscribe. I'm getting that one. Do we have anything else going on?
I just
quickly from like the inbox or anything. Anyone else jumping in?
I mean, can we bet how many Draisaitl shots will go wide? Is there any play off that? I mean, people are pretty snide this morning, man. That's kind of the deal here. But I appreciate the positivity here.
Okay, well then I'll just go with the 2 guys to have 2 points plus the Oilers winning. So hotline of the day: Leon Draisaitl over 3.5 shots.
Yep.
And let's build the EST parlay. We'll do Oilers win, and Connor and Leon both having 2+ points tonight. And you'll only be able to get that exclusively because CoolBet, they usually give a nice little bump to that. You can only get that at CoolBet. Click on the exclusives, and there it is.
The drive for 4.
Drive for 4.
Then we'd call you a dynasty.
I'm already the dynasty.
4 wins, it's the dynasty.
I did 3 in a row, unlike the Bombers.
That's what I was. Thank you for that.
They lost in that third one, though, so I can afford.
You're better than the Bombers.
Everyone's going to call them a dynasty if they won yesterday, 3 and 4. I'm already 3 and 4.
Yeah,
I'm the dynasty. I'm the CoolBet hotline of the day dynasty. Plain and simple. I get it done that third time, unlike the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
The winning percentage is through
much higher.
I don't know what Dustin's.
I'm not 500. I'm at least 750, if not 100. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Mike O'Shea, Zach Collaros, they're 500. Actually, Collaros is lower in the Grey Cup because he was there with Hamilton, was he not?
Yes, correct.
So he's lower than that. He's not that clutch.
I appreciate your modesty this morning, coming out of the gates hot today.
Toon says the driving cat says 29 and 97 won't combine for 2 points.
Okay.
So there's that. It's a Monday.
People are upset. Well,
you understand.
The good news is Canada plays Jamaica tomorrow. We're going to punch our ticket to Copa America, and that's what matters. Get ready for summer patio beers. It's all that matters.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
How was that game then? You watched it?
Yes, because Fubo TV has a 5-day free preview.
Was it Fubo?
It's because One Soccer's on Fubo. You didn't know that?
How was it?
It was fine.
For the people who didn't watch it.
I will say this. Absolutely no pre- or halftime coverage, which is
that's, you just want the goods.
I don't know.
Just the game.
It was fine.
Pitch was good, though?
It was all right. Like, it was dead. The ball stuck quite a bit to it. They trained it relatively well, I would say that. But no, going to Jamaica again in the first win since 88. Now they come home to Canada, and all they need is at minimum a draw, and we're going to Copa America next year, which they should be able to do.
Yep.
Toronto, please show up. Yeah, it's great. And then again, that's huge competition for the Canadian men's national team because they will not have to qualify for the 26 World Cup. You get Copa America next year. You get Gold Cup year after. Those are your 2 summers to be prepared for 2026. You need that. And it's, yeah.
And in a window where this club is,
they need to play good football.
But you also want to be in the tournaments, and you want to be having these good times while you can.
You need to play in matches that are meaningful.
Yeah.
And when you have a chance to go up against potentially Brazil or Argentina.
Chile.
You can't be watching.
I know Hernan's going to say not Chile right now, but Chile but even playing South American football, like their style, that nastiness, that dirtiness.
Feisty.
Like that's where people think CONCACAF has some bad officiating and stuff at times. Wait till you watch Copa America.
Put them through the ringer.
But yeah, it's great to see.
You made the comment, Toronto turn up.
Yeah. Fill up that upper bowl.
And they haven't yet, right? We were talking about that.
I haven't lost.
They
just opened up the upper deck last week. I don't think they sold out in the last couple of days.
They sold out a playoff game.
Vancouver.
CFL.
Yeah.
Get behind your national soccer team on the men's side.
35,000 tickets sold in Vancouver for Sinclair's last game.
That's awesome.
It's very nice to see.
Pathetic. Not that, but the Toronto.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting.
Winnipeg, not a dynasty.
Dynasty in the making right here. Follow him. Free money.
Deal with it.
Free money.
I'm so happy they lost. I am so.
Thank you very much.
I feel bad for Huss, but I'm just so happy the Bombers lost.
Huss is having. You know what?
The last great dynasty in the CFL remains your Edmonton football team.
Touche.
Bye now.
Matthew Wanek. Oh, Mr. Lead. Oh, that's good stuff. Coach Mike texting in 780-218-9999. Jersey text. Thanks, Coach Mike. Hey, Tommy, any early word on the Fanatics Oilers jerseys for next season when they take over for Adidas? Coach Mike, haven't heard much. I did talk with Harry and Langer from the Oilers equipment staff about their game-worn uniforms. They anticipate the material being generally the same as the Adidas ones.
I touched one of those Fanatics jerseys over the weekend.
They're different.
Yeah.
They're the replicas.
It feels like a soccer kit.
Yeah. There's some problems with Fanatics replica and like T-shirts and stuff. But in terms of like the game-worn stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the trainers think it's going to be very similar to what Adidas has. But that's different than what the fans can buy.
It can't be anything like what I touched, because if you're wearing that, like pulling that over equipment, well, again, it's just like a
and
it's like a shirt.
Yeah.
It's like a styled shirt.
Yeah.
It's like fine, but if you want a jersey, you're not getting a jersey.
No, that's true. So, Coach Mike, that's the last conversation I had about Fanatics. That was, oddly enough, Warren Fogle was discussing it with us too. It became a little chat.
Big jersey guy? Or?
No, it happened. We just started talking about it, and Warren decided to chime in. He was concerned too.
Maddie Sands glasses is freaking me out. Put them back on. That comes in from Tube Socks. Says, maybe this is the it's the Clark Kent thing with the glasses off. Now he's super powered.
There.
Oh no, he's
boom. Your Edmonton Football Club.
On the positivity with the football team, with the hockey team, right? He's
3
trying
in
to
a
get you
row.
going
The
here.
dynasty, the shade towards Winnipeg.
He's getting you going for tonight's Panthers game. We'll have more on that. Of course, you'll be by 3:30 today on Edmonton Sports Talk previewing. We'll get you going first here in the city for the Oilers and Panthers tonight, 3:30. And of course, you'll be back after tonight's game, taking all the reaction texts and whatnot on the post-game show. And it's all right here, Edmonton Sports Talk. We're going to be joined by Mike Tenier from the Messenger in a few minutes' time. Couple minutes, yeah. So Mike Tenier will be by from the Messenger to recap everything that went on Week 11 in the NFL. We'll take a quick scan over that, setting things up for tonight's mouth-watering Monday Nighter, the Eagles and Chiefs from Arrowhead. And you can join me tonight for this game at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. I know a few of you nasties have already made plans to come out tonight. Tube Socks, perhaps Fergie's Prostate, I don't know. But Centric Casino on Fort Road is the place to be tonight. We'll have the Eagles, we'll have the Chiefs, we'll have the Oilers and the Panthers, and we'll be giving away a trip for two to Los Angeles, courtesy of friends at Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. It'll be the Rams and Browns that game, beginning of December. Lance asks, what was Fogle take on the nasty chat?
He was just worried about the material. And he's like, they can't be worse than what... He's like, they can't make it worse, or these jerseys are good. I like these Adidas ones. Why is Fanatics doing it? Like, he wasn't up to speed.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're not going to change anything, right? And the equipment manager, Harry and Langer, were like, we don't think so. Why would they? They have to maintain a certain level of quality for the material. The league wouldn't let them, knock it down and go to a cheaper, crappier material. But what the players get when they wear it on the ice compared to what the fans are offered, let's call it, is different. So... but that's like the extent of the conversation. To go back to Coach Mike's question there about early Fanatics stuff takeover. It's going to be interesting.
As long as there's no nipple chafing, hey? Like, you don't want the...
No, you don't want that.
You don't want that.
That's
Nobody
the
wants
worst.
that in a jersey or any sort of, something like that. We'll be joined by Mike Tenier from the Messenger here. Brought to you once again by Pro-Am Sports. And if I could just find the sheet here, there it is. Your locally owned fan gear and fan cave specialists, located St. Albert Trail, 1 block north of the Yellowhead, or online at proamsports.ca. Mike Tenier from the Messenger covers all things NFL. Mike, good morning to you. Happy Monday morning. Let's just start with that Sunday Nighter, the last game on the mind. Russell Wilson, let's ride Denver Broncos. Boy, can they be stopped?
Well, I think the Denver Broncos can be stopped. I don't think they're that strong a team, but you have to look at what they've done in the last couple of weeks. Okay, yeah, that was a fourth quarter comeback in a game where they really, had trouble punching it in the end zone for a lot of that game. They have a few too many big plays for the Vikings. They come away with the win. Week before, came away with the win with the Bills on Monday night. Yeah, they needed weird penalties at the end of the game. They did it. Came away with a win from the Chiefs. So, you're looking at a 5-5 team, but they're on a 4-game winning streak. I don't think they're top to bottom all that strong, but you have to watch them in the AFC playoff chase because, yes, Russell Wilson still has the fourth quarter magic, so to speak. Yes, their defense is strong. They're keeping opponents from running away from games, even though they were, their defense was terrible in week 3. And their schedule looking ahead is not that hard. So the Broncos might very well be a playoff team. Big tip of the cap to Sean Payton for really flipping the script on that organization.
I can't believe you just said that. The Broncos might be a playoff team. This is insane stuff here on the 20th of November. Your piece up this morning, Mike, just recapping Week 11. And the Bills, they're back, but you still see it as a long uphill battle. Your thoughts on the convincing win over the Jets and where to next for the Bills?
It ends as a very convincing win, and it starts with it's 3-0, and then it's 6-0. And then it's 9-0. At halftime, it's almost like, well, it's going to be 9-0, and then there's an interception that goes the other way. And, you're seeing the Bills play better than they have in a couple of weeks, you also see the Jets kind of flatlining. Their offense can't do anything. When their offense can't do anything, the defense kind of starts pressing, and you get penalties and mistakes and things like that. So it was a big win for the Bills. The Bills were in danger of pretty much getting knocked out of the playoff race. If the Bills went to 5-6, forget about it, because they've got the Eagles next week, and then they've got the Chiefs in 3 weeks, and they got the Cowboys after that. It's nothing but uphill for the Bills. So big win, convincing win. They still have a long ways to go to show that they're going to do something more than squeak into the playoffs as a wild card and then be a one and done mistake-prone playoff team.
Well, Mike, I was going to ask you about Cincinnati. We saw the Joe Burrow injury and the hand and wrist issue and all of that. Like, this has been a disappointing season for Cincinnati. Is this season lost in your opinion, or where can they go from here without their star quarterback?
It's almost lost. And the only reason why I'm not saying it's totally lost is, the Browns are winning with Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback right now.
DTR, baby.
DTR, and the DTR, the Jets have a couple of wins with Wilson, before that kind of fell apart. So, and you say, well, those teams had great defenses. Well, the Bengals have an okay defense, and they've got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins when healthy and all those receivers, where you think like a very ordinary quarterback get out there, if they can just get the ball to these guys on jump balls and screen and go, they can win a couple games. So I don't think the Bengals aren't going to the Super Bowl, and that was their goal this year.
Right.
But the idea that they can squeak some wins down the road, get to 9-8, they play spoiler, maybe make it to the playoffs, that's something I think that they could do with Jake Browning. Is kind of a wait and see situation.
Mike Tenier from The Messenger joining us this morning, courtesy Pro Sports, to break down Week 11 in the NFL and set up one more game tonight in a tantalizing one, Mike, and the Chiefs and the Eagles. What are you expecting tonight? A delicious primetime matchup here to conclude Week 11.
Finally, a truly great Monday night football game, and they serve it up right before Thanksgiving. And these are obviously two of the best teams in the NFL. I use a lot of DVOA analysis, and DVOA analysis, from the FTN network says that, that the Eagles are a little overrated. Not that they're a bad team, but that they're 8-1 by virtue of some close wins and some weaker opponents, etc. That said, I kind of like the Eagles. The Eagles' main vulnerability is that they can't cover like your number 2, your number 3 wide receivers. The Chiefs don't have a number 1 wide receiver, let alone a number 2, let alone a number 3. It's Travis Kelce, and then it's like the Seven Dwarfs as their receiving corps. So I think the Eagles match up well on that. I think they should be able to run the ball, and it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to go over I think it's 44.5. I think it's going to go over, but I like the Eagles overall.
Mike, I know we need to get through the end of Week 11, but Week 12 is a special one, American Thanksgiving, or as we like to call it up in Canada, Thursday. That's a terrible joke. It's a terrible joke, but there is magic when it comes to this week, and yes, we get caught up in it as well up here in Canada. Just how do the Teniers take in what will be a special American Thanksgiving weekend in the NFL?
For years as an NFL writer, I've been blessed that I was never asked to travel on Thanksgiving. I've always been home with my family. But what often happens is, I have dinner, I have my elderly mom over, I have my kids home from college, all of that good stuff. We have a big dinner, we put everything away, and then my editor starts calling. Mm-hmm. Can you cover? And it's not going to be cover Cowboys Commanders. It's probably going to be, can you cover the 49ers Seahawks? So gotta watch out for turkey leftovers. Can't have the extra cocktail after dinner because I got to be ready to write on that really good, really interesting Thursday night game that's coming up.
Yeah. Mike, we appreciate your time, man, as always, and you enjoy this week especially. Hope you don't work too hard or don't get too many of those calls, but enjoy the turkey and all the trimmings and the fixings, and we'll talk next Monday.
I appreciate it. Take care and enjoy your ordinary week in Canada.
Thank you, Mike. From The Messenger. You can find out his work, themessenger.com. Does great stuff. I mean, if you like listening to him, he writes kind of the same way. It's you get everything you need to know in a nice, short, concise package. But Mike Tenier from The Messenger, we love him. Brought to you, as always, by Pro-Am Sports, your locally owned fan cave and fan gear specialist. St. Albert Trail, 1 block north of Yalehead, or proamsports.ca. You celebrate American Thanksgiving?
Yes, of course.
Well, you've traveled. You used to travel with the Oilers. Yeah. You go to the States quite a bit. You've befriended a lot of people stateside.
Yeah.
You ever get to experience an American Thanksgiving?
Yes. It's lovely.
Yeah.
The travel is ridiculous. Like if you travel on or around America,
even in a week, maybe even today,
it's unbelievably frustrating. But American Thanksgiving, like we up here, our Thanksgiving's in October. It seems the date changes all the time. Obviously, it's enjoyable, a good time to get together with family and friends. You hear Friendsgiving, that's a big thing. But down there, man, like it's almost as big, if not bigger, than Christmas. And fortunately, we've done some like group gatherings. Jack Michaels being from the U.S., he would usually spearhead that, and they do it differently. It's a lot of fun. So, but I appreciate the trio of games we get on Thursday, and it starts bright and early. I like being an outsider and being like, oh, how do you guys do it? Oh, you do it like this? This is neat. Can I please join? And
was anything different? The food though, like
no, it's
still
the same
turkey,
food.
potatoes.
Same
I mean,
food.
I just like it because we basically get two. Like they don't observe ours at all. It's whatever they like. We get two Thanksgivings, and again, you mentioned we get the football.
Yeah,
you could basically tell your employer too. It's American thing. Oh yeah, Black Friday, and we get the best of both worlds.
True,
really.
Very much so.
And living both of them. Like, I don't mind having two Thanksgivings in October and then, doing whatever you want on this Thursday. But
I remember one year, everything's closed except for airports. We're in Minnesota, staying in St. Paul, and we had American Thanksgiving off, and Jack organized a big Thanksgiving dinner with football at a sports bar owned by a former Minnesota North Star. And, we had the whole back VIP room to the Edmonton Sports Media, and it was awesome. Like all the fixings, they went in, they made a big turkey. We had all the chicken wings your heart could desire. Like it was all out. Like it's grandiose. It's grandiose. Here, you want more drinks? This, that, boom, boom, and you're like, I can't. I have to undo a button on my shirt because it's so much food.
But 'tis the season, and that's what I said too in the nasty chat. Like Grey Cup to me kicks off the bad eating season.
Totally.
Up till January, I don't know, 9, 10 now, I guess. Like there's always that week after New Year's you're kind of cleaning up and But up until then, from now till then, I'm going to be eating garbage.
Go.
Be living like a raccoon for the month and a half or whatever. Is drinking bad, eating bad, staying up past whatever,
snacking,
lots of snacking, salt, sweet, sugar, just the whole bit. And that was yesterday. I cracked a tin of smoked oysters, maybe just one. Might as well have two.
Sure,
why not?
I saw your stack of smoked oysters, and I'm like, oh, it's a great cup.
Great gifts as well if you're looking to kind of stuff a stocking here or there.
Tradition, unlike any other.
Yeah, look, when somebody opens up or a stocking or a gift or whatever, and there's a tin of smoked oysters, the face on that person is priceless. That's your gift. You give them the oysters as a return gift. You get the look on their face.
How thoughtful.
It's just great stuff. It's good stuff.
Oh, fantastic.
780-218-9999, the Paris Jewelers inbox. We're a little ahead of the top of the hour here, but coming up, we do have kind of easy trivia and 3 questions too many, brought to you by Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual and Park Mazda. So if you have any questions you'd like for 3 questions too many, please get them in. I know Joe Belineski has one. Do we know who is on the hangout today?
Jerry Montejong.
Is it the big cat?
Big G's coming in.
Jerry
I know that.
Is it Jerry Montejong solo? And Murray McCourt from the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
Beautiful.
So Murray McCourt and Jerry Montejong post-media this morning on the hangout. A great Monday hangout to get into the week. So, Joe, doesn't count as one of the 3 questions too many. But if you have any, get them in 780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox, or in the nasty chat. People still talking about what happened with Fogle. Did I miss the Fogle talk? What happened with Fogle? What's with Fogs? There was nothing.
Oh, boy.
If you just wanted to, again, lay this to...
Let's just clear that up. So someone asked about jerseys for next year. I think it was Coach Mike. And I said, I don't know much about what Fanatics will be doing outside of the fact I had a conversation with the Oilers equipment managers asking about the jerseys for next year. And they just said, we anticipate them being of the same quality for the on-ice product as what they have right now with Adidas. And Warren Fogle jumped into the conversation. That was it. And it was interesting because players don't usually care about that type of thing. And it was myself, the 2 equipment managers, Harry and Langer, and Warren Fogle talking about the jerseys for next year.
It's refreshing to see a player kind of make a deep dive into that.
Yeah. That's it. That's all. There's no other...
The fabric does matter to him.
He wants it to breathe and wick moisture. That's all.
It's that
and look good.
Cotton Yankees episode there. The Seinfeld.
You don't want the cotton.
You don't want the cotton in the video. 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers inbox. If you're ever short a hangout guest, I say bring in Eric doing his Atif impression for a straight hour. That comes in from Surveyor Brett.
Ooh.
Maybe we have Atif in and Rocky Balboa to tackle an hour once.
No,
one of these days. I wouldn't mind
Atif. Yes,
Atif
Rocky
actually.
Balboa,
Atif in the flesh, like real Atif, like
He's
wheels.
fun.
Wouldn't mind getting him up here, maybe to talk about that sledge hockey championship, but
that'd be cool.
Perhaps a different episode. This text flies in. First text. Great Grey Cup. I couldn't be happier for Jason Moss. Think about the Owls teams of the past that we had the privilege to watch. Calvillo, Pringle, Cahoon, etc. Congrats to this group for ushering a new era. I love the CFL. That comes in from Tom.
Great first name.
Great name, great first text to the show, and we welcome you in, Tom. And couldn't have said it better. I think it's nice also. I mean, I think in sports it's neat. It's fun to witness a dynasty in the making. Like you're like, I was alive. Well, that team was trucking along. I think for a lot of people out west here, maybe the Bombers isn't that dynasty you'd want.
Right.
But the Alouettes had one once upon a time with those names that Tom texted in. And, they haven't been around the Grey Cup in quite some time, so it's nice to see them kind of get back on it. And
you know what's incredible? That was the first time those two teams met in a Grey Cup.
Kind of strange.
They've been around forever.
Kind of neat.
Yeah.
But, no, congratulations to the Owls. And I know somebody asking if, where was it here? If Gary Stern's still on the Alouettes, would they have won the Coupe de Grey? Kind of feel
by all accounts, talking to Jason Moss, actually, because he is on Bozone Live.
Yes.
He says the new owner's been awesome. Palado. He says it's been absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, well, the vibe there was great all season. I know they had the fans with the annoying noisemakers, but they made it their own.
Yeah, they did.
And they said, if everybody hates us, fine, we'll be that. And that's kind of the team identity. The us against the world mantra is one in sport that I think if you can harness that right and bottle it and use it properly, that's a dangerous, dangerous weapon. And I always thought this Oilers group, too, especially last year going on the road, I thought they kind of had a bit of that dog in them. But the term fragile is being bandied around the nasty chat right now. And
Rightly
I guess
so.
That's where we are, right?
Totally.
Fragile team equals fragile fan base. That comes in from Zulu this morning. So
a fan base, passionate,
but when that passion gets a little fragile, there's you're taking some weird off ramps, eh?
Yeah, there are a lot of weird off ramps, but it always keeps it interesting, that's for sure. Green
Day was spectacular. This text flies in from BB. I'd have to agree there. Spectacular is a strong word. They were really good.
Solid.
Really enjoyed it. Rock solid. There was no football halftime, Grey Cup, Super Bowl, or what have you. There was no identifying issue or moment, right? Like there was no nip slip. There was no baby shark. There was no things such as that in the past where you've kind of focused on. It was just a good, I guess, the game again. Taking over the final drive and possession from the Alouettes.
Yeah.
But in terms of the entertainment, anthems, coin tosses, all that, they did bring the Grey Cup earlier to the field. They drove it in.
I love how they put it out there as the teams were running. And I like the Grey Cup base that they created during COVID, and you could pay to have your name etched in it. I think it looks really good, to be honest with you. It really makes it look super nice. I just one thing I observed. Also, does Billy Joe Armstrong age?
They all looked great.
Yeah.
Trey looked like he was still...
He looked cool.
And I mean, again, there's money involved. I'm sure when you're a high-profile celebrity such as they are, you kind of get a little bit of help. It's not all water and staying out of the sun.
Oil of Olay.
Yeah, a lot of oil of Olay.
A lot of oil. But I was like, this guy looks like he did 25 years ago.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's Woodstock, 98 all over again or whatever, 97, 96. So get him in, 780-218-9999. What'd you like about the Grey Cup? Is there anything you didn't like? Who do you want to see performing at halftime next year in Vancouver, which I know Maddie's banging that drum about us going.
Let's do it.
I'll take more of a slowed approach, but that's the plan right now, to be in Vancouver for Grey Cup next year. Green Day did drop an F-bomb, so that was something. I don't know if that was on the TV.
They thought they were in Quebec.
Was that
French.
Live? Was that French? Is that?
I don't know.
Big Alice fans.
I'm covering for them.
Green Day. Yeah. Vert Day is what they call them out there.
Vert du jour?
And the nasty chat. Let's get that going as well. Hey, hit the likes. We're not even at 100 yet. What's going on? Everybody? We got Rishaug coming up. That like should be over 300 by now.
Oh, totally.
It's Rishaug Mondays. He'll be by with the Got Your Back podcast. Of course, Ryan Rishaug of TSN. He did a little Grey Cup recap yesterday, I do believe. We'll probably dive into the big game with him as well. Obviously, Oilers taking precedence. They're right smack dab in the middle of a 4-game Eastern swing in which they dropped the opener Saturday afternoon in Tampa. They are in Sunrise this afternoon, I guess, to take on the Panthers. Tom Gazzola will be by later today at 3:30 for your Oil Stream pregame show. I guess we'll get to a sports update here for United Sport and Cycle. And if you want to play kind of easy trivia this morning, text in 780-218-9999. We got $25 to Mr. Mike's on the line. So just text in, hey, I want to play, or hey, Trev, pick me, or whatever you think can land you in the good graces of YouTube Trev this morning. 780-218-9999 if you want to play. If you want to be somebody on a Monday morning and bring victory to your household. 780-218-9999 as we get into a sports update for United Sport and Cycle. 110th Grey Cup. One for the ages is the Alouettes. Rally to knock off the Blue Bombers 28-24. Cody Fajardo, 290 yards through the air and 3 touchdowns. Make it back-to-back Grey Cup losses for Winnipeg. Fajardo also named the game's most outstanding player. The Denver Broncos win again. They scored 12 fourth-quarter points, knocking off the Vikings 21-20. You can join me tonight as Week 11 in the NFL wraps up at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. It's the Eagles and Chiefs. We'll also be giving away a trip for 2 to LA to catch the Rams and Browns. The Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Centric Casino Fort Road, where every day is game day. Oilers continue a 4-game East Coast swing tonight in Florida. Tom Gazzola has your Oil Stream pregame show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Coverage begins at 3:30 this afternoon. Oilers Panthers, one of 7 games around the NHL tonight. This sports update for United Sport and Cycle, your home of hockey for over 95 years.
The Nielson Show with Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
It's the Nielson Show, third and final hour here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Lieutenant Eric alongside Tom Gazzola and YouTube Trev, pumping up the guest coming up for kind of easy trivia. You get him on the line, but then you say you got this. So you're feeling good, like you have a massage prior to them playing. I like that.
Yeah, you gotta pump them up, you know. So we've got Jane. She's feeling confident. Jane. Yeah. Okay. I think she's got this. So Jane, give her away. You got this.
Jane's always got it. Hello, Jane. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
How you doing? Long time no talk.
It's been a very long time, and I haven't played for years, so I'm pretty scared.
How's that bike? How's that bike going?
It's awesome.
Still got it? Still riding around town? Or what?
You betcha. Absolutely.
Love it. Jane won a bike like 10 years ago with us.
Really?
Yeah. It was great.
Wow.
Yeah, it was big giveaway. Gave away bike, and Jane was the winner. I'll never forget it, Jane. It's perfect. Welcome back to the show. Have you been Edmonton Sports? Like, I guess you haven't played in 10 years or whatever. That was back at the old station, 1260?
Yeah, long time ago. Long time.
Well, we still do it remotely the same. I'll start the ticker after Tom reads the first question. You're playing for $25 in gift card form to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. Visit them today. Check out the Jane, if I may. If you do win, the Sirloin Bites. Fantastic. So I'll pass it over to Tom. He's got the questions. I'll start the ticker after he reads the first, and good luck to you, Jane.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Jane. You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Jane, which team won the 110th Grey Cup?
Montreal Alouettes.
What band performed at the halftime show?
Green Day.
Who do the Oilers play tonight?
The Florida Panthers.
Which driver won the Las Vegas GP?
Pass.
Did Canada defeat Jamaica in men's soccer on Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jane.
Yeah, Jane. Whee!
I'm a figure skater.
people get pretty attached.
3-2, the windup and the pitch.
Liter cola. Do we make liter cola?
Who do you think you are? I am.
The hockey god.
I am.
The hockey god.
I am.
The hockey god.
16 stars. Myself, listen to Fergie. Big girls don't cry.
Fly ball, right field. Back goes Beltran. He's in front of the wall, and it bounces off the wall.
Nobody happy when you're not playing, so actually I was frustrating.
Puig is on his way to second.
Team names, mascots.
Puig is on his way to third.
No puck possession.
The throw's not going to be in time. Gonzalez has already scored. A triple for Puig, and the Dodgers take a 2-0 lead.
I don't want a large barba.
And Puig explodes with emotion.
Do an exorcism and see if they'll grant us a little more leeway.
Adrian Gonzalez sends this place into a frenzy.
Leader is French. Give me some cola.
From my hometown.
I'm a figure skater.
I don't know what that is.
In the offensive zone yet, or this Oil King.
Hey, whoa! Oh, and it cuts out there. Yeah, that was the thing.
Was that on purpose?
Yeah, it was on purpose because we had cut it. We dropped the. Anyways,
okay.
Congratulations to Jane, throwing us back a bit. Club 8 Loop from the vault as well, and Jane, good to hear you again from the vault as well. She was a 1260 reg, but she's
nice.
She's back again. Converted, yeah. Well, and carrying on. I don't know if she just found out or figured out, or she was kind of laying in the weeds, waiting for the right time, maybe. But good to hear you, Jane, and congrats on your big Monday morning win. God, yeah. Look at this, Maria Wilson. God, I've missed this show. Finally able to watch it live, and yes, we are. It's viewable now.
Yeah,
we didn't. You went to the TV school. I purposely avoided it because I didn't want to be on camera, and here we are.
I love that people can watch.
No,
I'm
it's great.
finding a lot of people are saying they like to turn it on YouTube while they're at work, and then they just put it on one of their tabs.
It's a different dynamic. It opens everything up. We no longer can kind of hide and do the things you and I used to do when we did a show together. We could talk to each other off the air with the talk back. We could hand signals the whole bit. I mean, we went to the bathroom during the show.
Yes. Yes, we did.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore.
Oddly enough.
Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen Studio here at Popeyes. Hey, you got to love it. Look at this. One of the many exciting hot graphics here. It's very spicy to the touch. But the Popeyes see them now. I know they're building the new location just down the road here, which is going to give me a lot of trouble moving forward in terms of my bank account. But that's fine. We'll wait till that happens. Welcome back, Maria. That comes in from Ellen. Yes, everybody be nice in the nasty chat. It is a Monday. The Oilers did lose Saturday, but we can kind of get the week off to a solid footing, hey?
Yeah, sure.
Good congratulating and being nice and all that. 780-218-9999 is the number to text. Paris Jewelers inbox. I know I still have Chris Sadaway as your text of the day leader, and he did mention the Kenny Lawler curse now.
Yeah.
He comes to Edmonton and gets paid a boatload of money. The Elks don't do anything. He goes back to Winnipeg, and they've lost back-to-back Grey Cups. So I think it's fair now we talk about Kenny Lawler and the curse that he carries with him.
Smack talking Edmonton.
Smack talking, exactly. And I also want to get to this text as well here. And, of course, I lose it.
Which one?
But anyways, well, it was Justin Lawrence, a former Juve Golden Bear, and third different team, I want to say, if the text was right. But a little bit of a local mix and local flair into the Alouettes winning yesterday was former Golden Bear Justin Lawrence, center for your Montreal Alouettes. So congrats to him as well for the little local flair on that win. The only Grey Cup negatives are of the CFL's own making. The lack of French signage. Can't believe they are still having issues after however many years. And the fact
We're
the game
complaining about French signage?
Yeah, and the fact the game wasn't on TV in the U.S., only available on the app. So,
I had friends in the U.S. texting me that they watched the game yesterday.
Well, you could watch it on, not on
standard.
TV. And the tint's too low, and the brightness. So, if those are the things, then I'm taking that as a
Do we now not live in a time of modified media? Look at us.
Yeah, I mean, but again, if those are the complaints, I'm hey.
Yeah,
to me, that's okay. I mean, they're not
the
all,
French thing kind of throws me for a loop.
Well, they had Randy Ambrosie on with James Duthie pregame, and I know Duthie kind of pressed him on that. And Ambrosie kind of
they had the LCF logo on there.
I think somebody I think in the week leading up, somebody maybe just dropped the ball, or they signed off on something they shouldn't have, and something wasn't done. I mean, the CFL isn't getting away from French Canada or whatever. And I know that there was some profanity-laced en français player availabilities post-game, kind of sticking it to everybody. But hey, that's fine. if that was the storyline you want to go to in the wake where a few French signs weren't put up and now the Alouettes win it, and that's fine. I'm game for that. I don't think it was the CFL though going out of its way to make that a thing. I'm sure it was just a mistake in setting up an event. Usually these things kind of happen from time to time. I'm not gonna.
I'm just gonna reserve comment.
Watching Green Day last night was as sad and disappointing as seeing Ozzy 20 years ago. They're all so old now. And who is the kid dressed up like the Kool-Aid Man during the pregame show? That flies in at the nasty chat as well. I'm going to say this about Green Day. Like, they performed well. They look good. Ozzy Osbourne is one that's ages has caught up to him. But I mean,
well, his brain is mush.
These acts aren't what they were. They are older, and that's kind of the...
I thought they were.
I wasn't expecting to see Green Day from the 90s, but... Whatever. Why do sports networks keep using Good Riddance as a closing song for memorable events? The lyrics are misleading, not to mention the title. Just saying, it's a breakup song about his girlfriend leaving him. Well, again,
that was like the grad song for like 10 years straight for every high school grad.
It's just the words Good Riddance. I mean, you don't read too much into the lyrics, but...
It's a misconception. That's a good point. Remember Vitamin C? That was the grad song, too.
How could you forget?
Yeah.
Wasn't it called the grad song? Like graduation song?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, I believe it might. Oh, no. My grad song was Here's to the Night by Eve Six. That's about infidelity. And I was like, oh, grad 2003. And I'm listening to the lyrics. I'm like, oh, that's not really grad related at all. Anyway.
Get Jane on the hangout. Give Jane another bike. Jane was killing it this morning.
It would have to be an e-bike now, right?
Congrats. Oh, we could do that. Yeah,
live in the now.
Give you one of my bikes if you want an old bike, and we could make the price
Tune it
stick.
up.
Yeah. 3 questions too many. You ready for this? 3
Sure.
questions too many.
Bring it
Brought
on.
to you by the great staff at Park Mazda. Visit them today online, parkmazda.ca, or in the flesh at the dealership in Sherwood Park. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. Question number 1, if there was one thing you could change about last night's Grey Cup game, whether production, promotion, or on the field, what would it be?
I was surprised at the lack of extra seating that was added to
You wanted the big
Tim Hortons Field.
The big grandstands. Like
Yes.
most Grey Cup, when you have
In
the
the
stadium
end
and then it
zone.
doesn't look like the stadium at all anymore, and it's just grandstands upon grandstands.
It's a 24,500 seat facility, so it's not big, easy to sell out. You would think, relatively easy to sell out. I was expecting there to be more extra seating in one of the end zones. I know they had the stage for Green Day or Vert Jour for those that wanted the French and the dropping of the ball with the French signage.
Wouldn't it be something if they sang a song and then they immediately after that they sang it again in French? That would have been awesome.
The anthem was beautifully done in both
Really
French and
good,
English, absolutely. But I thought there would be more seats. They'd get it somewhere to 30,000. I know that there was a little bit of extra seating in the end zones. I know that they added the luxury suites in the one end zone, but I thought there would be just like more volume and mass and making it look like a bigger stadium. I don't know. That would be me. How about you? What would you have changed?
It's kind of tough to go to the game plan. Again, I just wanted an open-ended question, in terms of anything and everything here. The game was, that's a solid, as I said, that's a top 10 Grey Cup game, man. I don't know how to kind of Mount Rushmore them all this morning off the top of my head, but that was a finish for the ages. I guess more mention of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. There wasn't really a lot of it.
Oh, get out of here.
So I would have loved if people would have brought them up more because it's a national, it's a championship game, and they just can't keep that team's name out of their mouth. It's quite something. It was remarkable, and I'm kind of surprised that they didn't talk about it more. So I would have liked to see more Saskatchewan Roughrider talk. To be honest with you.
Oh, get out of here. Beef Nips texts in says, I would want to see Dusty on the TV call. Otherwise, it was a great Grey Cup all around. Or, as Charles Barkley says, great Grey Cup all around.
And that was great. And then that Rod Black story on Friday,
Yes.
I mean, that was just awesome. And he did a good Chuck. His
That
Charles
was so
Barkley
good.
impersonation.
Yeah.
But I have to agree there. I think we can all kind of agree with Beef Nips. Dusty on the TV call. And again, Rod Smith, almost like Green Day maybe. I remember Rod Smith doing Hardy Cups and Churchill Bowls back covering CIAU football. And he was
played youth sport.
Yeah. Him and Jamie Boone or whatever.
Yeah.
But now, time marches on, and I think Rod just said, last night when they won, I'm kind of you're expecting a call, right? The call, and it was a fascinating finish and all that, and You're Grey Cup champion, the Als. I don't even think he said the Alouettes. Like,
yeah,
you got to give the Montreal Alouettes your Grey Cup champion, or the Saskatchewan. Like, say the whole name, say the team name, where they're from. Say it's not so good when you win a championship in the fashion they did, and you're just like, yeah, and it's the Als. They're taking home the thing.
Yeah, you need to give it the.
I wanted a little more. I'm not harping on Rod Smith this morning, but
he is a great broadcaster.
No, yeah.
Okay, he's a great host. Yeah. He's a great broadcaster, great reporter.
But Dusty's radio call to wrap it up was the dynasty denied by the Miracle Men of Montreal.
Yes.
And that's kind of that marquee, a little bit of rhyming ditty that goes along with that.
Dusty will be on the TV call, I would assume. Yeah. I think they probably want to get him in there maybe next year. I don't know for sure, but he is the stronger play-by-play voice. Him and Marshall were great.
Yeah,
I was listening to them yesterday on my drive into Bozone Live, where Jason Moss is one of our hunters. And him and Marshall sounded excellent on the radio call. I fully anticipate Dusty being on the TV broadcast maybe even as soon as next year.
I just felt in that moment it fell kind of short. It left me wanting a little more.
Absolutely. We're totally biased, obviously. He is our friend. Very dear friend and colleague here, but he inevitable. Dusty will be on the call. Has to be.
Question number 2. Who or what is the biggest story coming out of tonight's game against the Panthers? Who or what? Always leave room for officiating if you want to.
Let's not go there. I know. Too early.
I know.
Who or what will be the biggest storyline from tonight's Oilers game?
And as somebody, Dennis was texting in wondering who starts in net tonight. I don't know if that is a question that we need to.
I think they win tonight. No Barkov for the Panthers. Maybe a bounce back game. Maybe a solid defensive game from the Oilers. Maybe they don't give up 6.
One of those things, a boring night in Sunrise, where
I'll take it.
You clean it up and
I'll take
regulation.
We wrap up the post game show in a neat 1 hour package because everyone's satisfied and we all go home and get to bed early tonight.
Yeah,
maybe play some Fortnite. I don't know.
I think for a Monday with a 5 o'clock puck drop, that's what a lot of people would kind of, keep the business.
His eyes lit up as soon as I said Fortnite.
Well, because he's doing the your pillar to post as well, Trev, right? Tonight you'll be back for.
Yeah, we'll be back for posts and can't wait. But as for Fortnite later, there's a good possibility of that happening.
You look ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah,
I love you,
but you're owning it.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Like it's good to just to be yourself and not really care. And today's one of those days. I kind of just came in here and I was like, yeah, this is what we got today, and this is
bless.
And Tommy's all.
I love it.
Look at
I'm
him.
sorry. I felt bad. I was giving you the gears on I think Saturday a little bit.
Friday.
Yeah.
And Saturday.
What was the Friday
it's all
gears?
good.
What was I giving you the gears for?
Well, because I wasn't coming to hockey, and then I wasn't coming to play.
Yeah, he bailed.
And you didn't end up going, right?
And I didn't.
Yeah.
But I saw his eyes light up as soon as I slipped.
I was like, oh, did someone say Fortnite?
It's like when you say treat to a dog.
The ear just bends a bit.
Yeah.
Are you? But you're going for your license photo today? Is this?
Yeah.
Actually,
like this?
Yeah.
That's how you're
this
going.
Is how he's
of course.
Going.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
That's awesome. It's so funny. I'll be able to show people and be like, look at this. Isn't this
I
funny?
like that. You're going for that thing.
Get a load of
bouncer.
this.
Yeah.
Look at
Check
this
out this guy.
Yeah.
What is that?
Cross your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do a funny face
Sir,
for
can
sure.
you please uncross your eyes. I'm uncrossing.
What are you talking about? This is how I look. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Anyway. Sorry, dude. He's laughing.
If you want more of this, it's 3:30 tonight right here at Edmonton Sports Talk. YouTube, Trev, Tom Gazzola. What you got, a gang of merry men joining you as well today, or is there a...
Cass is back. Yeah. Cass was busy on Saturday. Joaquin showed up out of the blue. He was
I saw
making
the video.
A Costco run.
He was going through that fridge like something else.
He fixed it. He organized it. He got very frustrated with how it was laid out prior to Saturday, and
then he took out one of your little coffee creamers I saw,
which is straight up whiskey. So, we'll see. I'll try to get somebody on from Florida as well. It's been busy. I see Rishaug's also in the bullpen ready to go. We need to get to question number 3.
Yeah, question number 3, and just ahead of Rishaug, who do you want to see playing, or who or what would you want to see playing next year's Grey Cup halftime show in Vancouver, which we will hopefully be at. Now, this is West Coast, right? This is. I'm nothing against the Hammer, but it's an outdoor Grey Cup, as you mentioned, slightly smaller venue. You're going to Vancouver now. You got the BC Place, you got the seats, you got so. I mean, we can dream a little big here, bigger than Green Day.
Buble. Buble. Completely facetious, obviously.
What about a Bieber?
Nah. I'd like to see the Killers, and I'm biased towards the Killers. They're my favorite band. So,
if we're going with who we'd like to see, I'd love to see Sleep performing their hit track, their 52-minute long epic Dope Smoker. That would be it's a 52-minute song. You play one song halftime, everybody goes home happy, or it lulls you to sleep. I'd take Sleep. It's probably going to be Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Well, it's Vancouver. If you're going to bigger than Green Day, what's the next step? I would look at this Taylor Swift.
All right.
And, it's just kind of that type of thing. I guess Rishaug's in the bull. He's ready to go, hey?
Yeah, babe.
Tear off the jacket right now. It's the Got Your Back Monday Morning Podcast. TSN's Ryan Rishaug joining us this morning from his home studios. Ryan, good morning to you, man. How was the weekend?
Week, and you completely forget the theme music and the intro and everything, Eric. You're just driving it right off the street and into the ditch.
Oh, boy.
I missed the first part of what you were saying there because the mic wasn't on. But I don't have the audio. Dustin left me with nothing.
Oh, seriously? He set you up to fail. That's shocking. He would do that.
Well, it wasn't really a setup. There was nothing set up at all. So
he just left town. Was like,
and here I am failing in front of you. So
good luck with the show, and left you no instructions, no how. Like Tommy, you're in the seat there.
I don't know what any of this does.
Do you want to?
I'm like you, although you are now technically sound with buttons and whatnots and hootenannies.
Well,
I don't care for
that.
this.
He's doing something here.
Yeah, he's in the lab.
Yeah,
he's in the lab. He's going to mix
this guy.
I might be able to. Where is it here? Okay.
Yeah, if you can play it, by all means. There we go.
Timberlake rocks. I don't remember all of it. This is what sports broadcasting is all about. Rishaug is soft and is soft like Charmin. I don't know what he was talking about, but I disagree.
Tom
Gazzola is overrated.
Get it in there. That was
wow. Well, coming from a guy who's 10-ply, I don't take much stock into it.
There you go.
Yeah,
that Timberlake rocks was spot on. I thought that was part of the intro. Actually,
that's really good.
There you go.
I can't push. I don't know how to use this thing, Ryan. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's funny that Dusty bailed out of town and didn't show you how to use any of the equipment.
Yeah, that's true. That's
like Chris Nalblock inheriting a new hockey team, eh?
Right.
I don't know how to use this thing. Why would it work?
Do I push?
How does this power play work? Leave me a note. Leave me a note on the desk when you go.
Shiny and fun looking, but you just can't get the damn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you like Grey Cup? First off.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, I mean, super entertaining. What a finish.
Yeah.
Just a crazy finish. I mean, you get sacked, when you're trying to get into field goal range. That's you can't do that as a quarterback. Take a sack and go the wrong way. So I think we were all kind of thinking the same thing. Like, oh man. And then 3rd and 5, and they throw for 31 with the game on the line. That was just ballsy as heck. And then they punch it into the end zone in the end. It was dramatic fashion. It was awesome. What's with Jason Moss's sunglasses? Holy smokes.
I thought those were transitions.
They were probably the best part of the whole day was seeing Jason Moss decked out in those and then an amazing finish. So I loved it. I thought it was great.
Jason Moss is very fluent in French because he uses the word for seal all the time.
Does he?
The pardon my French takes a different angle with one Jason Moss, does it not?
I believe he mouthed it about 1,000 times on the broadcast yesterday.
There you go.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Grey Cup, it was fun. We all had our share of weird, delicious foods and maybe a few drinks. But the main event this weekend, Shoggy, was Saturday afternoon down in Tampa, and the Oilers kicking off that 4-game East Coast swing. Just generally your thoughts on that game, how it all turned out. I know a good start. We were talking earlier that maybe a few chances more banked early on and that you really put the Lightning to rest. They were vulnerable. You're in Sunrise tonight taking on a Panthers team, which have been playing well as of late. No Sasha Barkov. How do you see this thing starting Saturday, and where do you see this thing going as it continues tonight down in Sunrise?
Yeah, well, I think it was disappointing for them to take a step backwards the way they did. They had some real good positive momentum going. You rattle off 3 straight wins, and you just want to keep going. Now, I will say I thought the team played hard. I thought they worked hard. I thought their battle level was decent. But really, this boiled down to a power play that kind of fell off a cliff, right? They were good the first couple, but couldn't score. Mm-hmm. And then they want to be a more timely power play. They weren't. Like, they flat out weren't. So 6 is too many to give up. The power play wasn't there to bail him out. Some big mistakes hurt him again. And so to me, that game was a regression. But when you're still this fresh off a stretch of hockey like the Oilers had, how bad that was, every loss for Oiler fans is going to feel like, oh, we're right back where we were before. Every one of them for a while is going to feel that way. And so, they've won 3 of their last 4. Overall quality of their game has definitely come up. This next one, you guys, is huge because if they're in the crapper again tonight, and if they are making big mistakes, and if they're not playing the way they did in the previous 3 before the Tampa game, then there's a significant regression there. So this is really important for them. I think it's important for their psyche to come out and just good teams stop the losses at 1, right? Are the Oilers a good team this year? I don't know.
No.
But if they are, they'll stop the losses at 1.
Schauger, we're a week into the Chris Knobloch era. What is your take on how he's kind of starting to put his touches on this team? I know it's super early, but I'm kind of not taken aback, but I notice and I read his body language. I listen to him in the post game, and I'm starting to see a guy that's like, oh my God, what do I have here? Like, why is this team the way it is right now? What's your sense of Chris Knobloch right now?
Still learning to kind of read him, watching all his media availabilities, just sort of pay attention to the things that he's willing to say, what he's not willing to say, reading his tendencies in game. Honestly, he's such an unknown that we're still building a book on him a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, my observations are this. One, he's understated and he's pretty calm. The players talk about him being a calming influence in there. So I don't think he's a guy that's going to have really high ups and really low downs. I think he's going to be pretty steady, which I think is probably good for this group. I would say that he probably isn't going to tinker with his lines as much as the last couple of coaches have. Early indications are. Draisaitl and McDavid so far have remained on lines of their own to start each game. Now, he's not afraid to go back to that when he needs to. So, still kind of building a book on him, but we do know he's trying to get more people involved more often. We've seen some of that in the ice time distribution, which, I think is notable. It's still really early on to tell here, Tom, because it's like, how different would this team have been the last few games with Jay Woodcroft behind the bench? I'm not sure. It's more about the players and what they're doing right now. Mm-hmm. And so still really learning about this coach. And, we'll see if he's, going to give the other tender a start here. At some point, you probably need to. That'd be a bold move, right? Florida's a good team here. I know they're without Barkov. They're a good team. I think they got 7 wins in their last 10 games, I think. So is he going to change the lines up after a loss? We're going to learn that. We haven't seen him react to a loss. You learn a lot about a coach by how, they bob and weave their way through some losses. So we'll see. I'm really interested to see how he handles it because so far it's been fairly easy sledding, right? Mm-hmm. But now it gets a little tough here with the first regression.
Ryan Rishaug joining us, TSN, for the Got Your Back Monday morning mandate. Ryan, I just want to get your thoughts off the ice, and usually coming in on a Monday after the weekend it was for Oilers fans, and especially early on this season, we do go to the, hey, what deal is out there? What a goaltender, and right. Tristan Jarry's being bandied about this morning. Jake Allen over the weekend. We had Dreger on earlier today too, and I'm not going to ask you if there's a trade in the works or a trade imminent or anything, but you just get the sense, Ryan, that the return's out there right now, and for what the Oilers would have to go and give up, basically just off something that could be good for them. Not anything solidified or anything saying this is going to get you to this point exactly. It's too much of a risk, really, to be giving up what they'd have to give up. And then you talk about moving a guy like Jack Campbell or something. I mean, these are some pretty outrageous deals and some, really acrobatic stuff where you'd have to work mathematically. So is this just, again, the Oilers, you lose a couple, fans get in their heads and they want change and everybody goes to the drawing board and exacts a trade? Or, I guess, is there something this team could do realistically? Because we're looking at it, and it's pretty hand-tied. You're crunched up against the cap. There's no wiggle room. I don't think anybody's looking to help you out. You got Campbell you have to give away. And if you're looking to identify or bring in, say, for example, a goaltender, your options, in my humble opinion, are pretty weak in terms of what you'd get on a return and what you'd give up. So just your thoughts moving forward in terms of, is there a deal on the horizon at all for anything?
Well, Ken Holland is not doing his job if he is not beating the bushes on a bunch of different things. And a goaltender would be, near the top of the list. Let's run through some of the names. You hear lots of chatter out of Montreal, and I think Friedge mentioned that the other day too. It wouldn't surprise me if Jake Allen's no movement clause was an issue for the Edmonton Oilers. I believe he's got 7 teams. I can't report this as fact, but my sense is might be a non-starter on him, at least in the meantime, at least for right now. Montembeault, sure. I mean, could there be a deal there? Habs are probably willing to get something done. How much of an upgrade is it? I think those are fair questions. Jari, decent numbers, but the salary is pretty significant. And the asset, acquisition costs would probably be fairly significant. And then on top of that, you have to move Jack Campbell. So now what are you packaging with Jack Campbell to get somebody to take him? That's the thing, is if you want to go get a goalie, you got to move Campbell if it's anybody with any sort of salary. And you're talking significant assets attaching to Jack Campbell to move that contract. So I guess what I'm wondering is, where's Stuart Skinner at right now? And I don't think we necessarily know that. Let in a bunch the other night, but I don't know, how many did you guys think were his fault? How many were you guys pinning on him the other night?
I had the Glendening one on him. I would have liked to save there, but there's also an atrocious back check on that one, and then a couple guys going off the ice, ill-timed. Talking with Belzy on the post-game, Schauger, he put 2 or 3 on Bouchard alone.
Night. Bouchard had a tough night in terms of making some bad reads and not sensing danger. Zach Hyman had a great point after the game. He said, we need to do a better job of backing each other up when we make these big mistakes. And I think that's absolutely true. Yes, it was a tough change from Derek Ryan, but did you see Ryan McLeod on that play? Just floating around in the neutral zone? Just awful.
Yeah.
By the way, Ryan McLeod's play is an entirely separate segment. And I mean, I've gone off on the podcast a couple of times here, but it's nuts. And I know he missed training camp, but it's crazy that he's playing this poorly.
Yeah.
A player that is supposed to be their third line center is just giving them absolutely nothing. Just useless perimeter hockey game after game. Doesn't want to shoot the puck. Doesn't want to get to the middle. It's been bad this year. I'd be trading that player the minute I thought I could get a useful player that will skate hard and finish some checks and be in your bottom 6 in return. I'd be moving Ryan McLeod. Just to be playing this way while the team is struggling as much as it is nuts to me. I mean, it's just, you see what he's capable of. And I think you're not asking him to do something you don't think he's capable of. And he's just refusing to do it so far, which is head scratching. But yeah, so back to the goaltending. I think you probably want to give Skinner a little bit more time here just to figure out if you've got a starter this year or not. Mm-hmm. His game may be rounding into form. And I'd get Pickard into a game here. I think you need to. What's the point of bringing him up and just dragging him around on the roster, tiring out Skinner, and Campbell's not coming back anytime soon. So you probably got to work him in. See what you've got.
Tonight's the night then.
It could be tonight, yeah. I mean, tonight or what's the next game? Carolina?
Yep. Wednesday.
And they're, they're playing well, but they're not necessarily gangbusters this year either. So I would pick one of those 2 games. I suppose you could on the weekend maybe. But yeah, I think you do need to get him in more than anything. You just can't play Skinner every single game.
No.
Do you want to add anything?
I'm with you. No, I'm with you. I would say this too. Just how much do you ride on the fact that the Oilers have had a ton of success in Florida? They've lost once since 2002. I don't know how relevant that is, but if you were to say this is going to be a bounce back game for the team, Schauger, how confident would you be in that statement?
Not at all. I mean, all bets are off this year. Take everything that's been good about this team the last few years and just, put a big question mark on it, right? Can you rely on the power play? No. Can you rely on McDavid? No. Can you rely on Draisaitl? No. Can you rely on your top 2 lines? No. Can you rely on any of the goaltenders? No. Can you rely on a good, solid, fundamental game that if the goals aren't coming, this team knows how to play? No. There is zero reliability in any aspect of this team's game. None. Absolutely none. So they're looking to find some, they're looking to build some, but it's just not there, right? When the goals aren't coming, what are the Edmonton Oilers? And the answer is this year, they're a mistake-making, inconsistent mess. That's the answer. And good teams, when they go through stretches where the offense is struggling or the power play dips, it's like, well, at least you've got this to rely on. And I'm telling you guys, the Oilers got nothing. There is no base game that they've established this year that they can look at one another and go, okay, let's get to it, fellas.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. And they need to put the building blocks in place of that game. And then the offense will eventually start to come, I'm going to assume here. By the way, I mean, with McDavid producing what he is, it's unbelievable that he's sitting where he is. And, you know, we'll always put the caveat there that we know there's been an injury he's been dealing with this season.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, for his production to be where it is, even Draisaitl, like, was 18th in the league or something like that here this morning. I mean, in terms of catastrophic for the team, whether it's good or bad, there are a few things on the list higher than McDavid and Draisaitl's drop in production in terms of catastrophes for this team.
And you could also say, I mean, we have been saying McDavid may be dealing with something. I don't think we've said that about Draisaitl. I know people jokingly bring that up all the time when he's in a slump or looking a little lazy, but as far as we know, right, like clean bill of health there. I mean, there was no injury earlier in the season, so
yeah, you never know. I mean, for Leon Draisaitl, like, the difference to me is you can see some of the frustration in Draisaitl's game. I don't necessarily see it the same way in McDavid, and Draisaitl's an expressive guy out there, right? He's always had the body language. We've always talked about the body language, but man, you can tell when Leon Draisaitl's on the right side of it. You can see, you watch him back check, you know, the way he just gets those big legs going and back checks as hard as he attacks the other way. The way he makes sure, right, doesn't leave anything to chance defensively. He's got it in him. We're seeing more frustrated shifts, more frustrated body language, big swings in the defensive zone instead of stops and starts.
Yep.
So I would say that from Draisaitl's standpoint, it looks like it's as much about just him buckling down and making sure he's on the right side of it. Whereas I think McDavid's been fighting through something, but I think McDavid's got to be getting healthier at this point. He looks better. He looks more dangerous. He looks like he's moving better, but he's just having trouble finding it.
like sand through the hourglass, Ryan. And your fan club is in full voice here on the Nasty Chat on YouTube. DEL says, spot on analysis, Ryan. That really sums it up. And I guess we'll take that cue and leave it at that. Thank you for the spot on analysis and summing things up ever so perfectly. And thank you for assisting with the Got Your Back anthem this morning in place of me not being able. There you go. Play yourself out.
Guys.
Play yourself out.
I'm going to play myself out too.
Yep.
See you guys.
Boom.
Mic
drop. Oh, there he goes. Bye-bye, Ryan. Text came in, said, I wanted to read it here. It's via the Nasty Chat.
Start him tonight. Team just gave up 5.
Pat Maroon's bib says Oilers have lost 4 or 5 in Sunrise. That is actually incorrect. They have won 3 in a row in Florida. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They've won 12 of their last 13 visits.
Not a bad record.
5 in a row between 2008 and 2015 came in extra time. They've had a lot of success. 13-6 and 0 with 2 ties all time at Florida.
But why am I not believing that number? Like, why do you say that? And I'm not doubting you, but I think about it and I say, like, you know, Florida's been good as of late. I mean, not to say the Oilers haven't, but going down there and traditionally this team,
they just win it there.
The time zones, usually afternoon game. Like, it shouldn't be that, but I'm kind of surprised at that record.
They've been good there historically. It's one of the few places where they go in and generally walk away with 2 points for whatever reason. Back-to-backs, afternoon games.
Toes in the sand.
Florida's been very kind.
Just the Sunrise.
To the Edmonton Oilers.
Epic Rishaug, PT Mark chimes in 780-218-9999. And Joe says, sorry for the salty language, folks. We call it the Nasty Chat for a reason.
Nasty.
You gotta have a YouTube account to sign up, right? So it's not like it's but you know, within reason here. We don't need to and YouTube, look at YouTube Trev chiming in there, hey?
Oh, hello.
I love that. Let's get to 150 by the end. I think we can do that. 45 more. Yeah, that's a good challenge. Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into the Orange and Blue Breakfast right now, brought to you by Mobile One. Orange and Blue Breakfast sponsored by Mobile One. They will power the breakfast, and anything you need for a Mobile One, they are your people. So check them out, Mobile One. They power the Orange and Blue Breakfast today. We'll get going. There's no, again, intro, any of that type of fun stuff. Tommy, we're just going to roll up our sleeves and get right into it this morning. Your lines are, and just going off what we know at 8:40, November 20th today, McDavid between Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Connor Brown, Draisaitl centering Kane and Hyman, McLeod between Fogle and Ryan, and James Hamblin, who got his first NHL goal over the weekend, Saturday in Tampa. He'll center Adam Ernie and Sam Gagner. Your defensive pairings, Nurse, Ceci, Ekholm, Bouchard, Kulak, Desharnais, and in goal, one of Stuart Skinner or Kelvin Pickard, or perhaps both tonight. We shall see. No word yet on the starter. For the Florida Panthers, Anton Lundell centering Carter Verhaeghe and Sam Reinhart. Sam Bennett in between Evan Rodriguez and Matthew Tkachuk. Kevin Stenlund in between Nick Cousins and Ito Lestarian. And Steven Lorentz centering their fourth line. He's between Jonah Gadjevich and Ryan Lomberg. Defensive pairings for the Cats, Gustav Forsling and Aaron Ekblad. You got Mikola and Montour and Kulikov, Dmitry Kulikov. Hey, you remember that name?
I do.
Kulikov and Oliver Ekman-Larsson, the OEL on that blue line. And goalies for the Panthers, Sergei Bobrovsky and Anthony Stolarz. You remember that name as well,
I
right?
remember
That's another
Anthony Stolarz.
few familiarities on the Panthers squad tonight. So those are your lineups tonight. Taking a look at some injuries as well, and bear with me here, just pulling up the injury list for the Florida Panthers. I guess the big one, and people already talking about this morning, is Sasha Barkov.
Yeah,
and
of course.
if you're looking at from an Oilers point of view and any sort of good fortune tonight, that might be something to look at. Barkov for the Panthers listed as day-to-day, and Joshua Muhara is on the IR as well. And when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers, the visitors, Dylan Holloway and Matthias Janmark, both on the IR. Your boy MJ. Is that still a thing? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think he is a respectable bottom six NHL player.
Kind of took off though.
Well, let's cap it there. It's good to have respectable bottom six NHL players. He's injured. I don't know. Good for James Hamblin. I thought that was a great story. Maybe he builds on this. Tenacious, feisty, great. Has the confidence in scoring his first NHL goal. Good Edmonton boy. And, the other thing, too, I guess one of the few positives that comes out of that loss the other night was you saw Derek Ryan get his first 2 goals of the year, Hamblin chipping in. So people have been clamoring for bottom six production. They got some on Saturday afternoon. And more of that, please.
Bob was loving it, hey? That was a...
Robert?
Like, that was a sequence of goal scorers that specifically, like, it's the DiCaprio... GIF, you know, the
start in the mouth.
You know, that's our guys. That's our guys right there. But that was kind of funny to see. Key to a victory tonight. Key to a victory tonight.
Key to a victory? Go for it.
You could have a large key ring with many keys.
Yeah.
I guess when it comes to this Oilers team, and Rishaug kind of laid out everything that was kind of negative. The key, I think a stout. And not a good, but a great performance in net from either Skinner or Pickard tonight.
Yeah.
I think, and I know Barkov's out, but I could see the Panthers just maybe buzzing. And you mentioned maybe it's a defensive shutdown game that the Oilers somehow conjure up tonight. I'm going to say whoever starts tonight, they for some reason or way have a big game in net. And it's not just a good goaltending performance with some bad defending. It's a great goaltending performance to mask some bad defending.
I'll look for, as a key, a bounce back from the power play.
PP1 or 2?
Doesn't matter.
Just joking.
Doesn't matter. Just one of those units, get it done, because it wasn't happening. Missed opportunities galore on Saturday. 0 for 5, if I recall correctly off the top of my head, and discombobulated at times, certainly in the latter parts of the game. They had that chance on the power play late in the game, and just meh.
And let's be honest, they caught, like, Tampa that was not their day. Maybe, again, as you say, the season overall for them hasn't really been their season. But that day especially, I mean, they were... That's role reversal. That's when the Oilers are out east somewhere and it's an afternoon game and they're the ones asleep or whatever it is. Tampa was done. And that first period, you cash a few more of those chances because they had lots. Great looks.
They did.
So, I mean, there's maybe some encouraging messaging there, I guess, to come out of that. But strong analysis by Rishaug. Alim chimes in, 780-218-9999. But he's not making me feel good about my decision to invest in season tickets this year. Alim, stay strong on those tickets. You can always, sell in the...
secondary market.
Christmas is coming, right?
It really is.
People love a ticket for for Christmas. Still floored about that Jane appearance, Chris Sadoway says. Should book her for the hangout. You're not the first to suggest that, Chris, and perhaps that might be a thing moving forward. Got any prediction for tonight? Give us a prediction.
A prediction?
Could be very, very small, maybe.
3-1 Oilers. I'll
a
stay
score?
positive.
You're doing a score?
Yeah, they buckle it down defensively, show some hope to the fan base that they can still do it at times when they choose to, and they continue their winning ways in Florida. I will say that the Faja chimes in via the nasty chat, says, play Bouchard at wing, but D on the power play. We went over this, Sean Bell and I, on the post-game show on Saturday, and we're like, okay, hypothetical. We played the hypothetical game.
That's okay.
You put Bouchard on the wing. How is he on the wall in the defensive zone?
Ooh.
Not good.
Ooh.
You know why? Here's footsteps all the time. So puck gets rimmed to him, he's giving it up. How is he through the neutral zone? Belsey gave him the check mark, says he's probably decent in the neutral zone playing wing. How is he in the offensive zone? Well, we know he's not battling hard in the corners. He's probably waiting for someone else to come help him.
So he's not a defensive defenseman, but now he's also not an offensive.
Well,
right?
I mean, if he gets a look in the slot, he can rifle it, absolutely.
Situationally speaking, yeah.
Is he winning battles below the goal line if he's playing right wing? Probably not. I'm recapping what Sean and I had as a hypothetical discussion, because the Faja brings up something that has been bandied about in oil country lately about playing Bouchard at the wing. It doesn't move the needle, is what our conclusion was on Saturday when we were talking about this scenario on the post-game show. We're going through, like, okay, defensive zone, how would he be? Not great.
Yeah.
Neutral zone, yeah, probably adequate. Offensive zone, great if you give him a chance in the slot with the puck on his stick, if you feed him. But is he going to dig and win battles for you? Probably not. Is he going to handle the puck well in the offensive zone down low? Probably not. It was more X's than check marks.
Well, and again, watching the game, and Jamal Myers, he kept saying, he's not a defensive defenseman. And I was like, like in the terminology world, I get what I understand. I get what that meaning is and what it entails, and I guess you can get away with that if you're on a very strong blue line, right? You can have the guy, the weird one that he's not. You blue line of defensive defenseman. He's allowed to go do his thing, but they don't have that blue line, right, to afford him to do his thing,
right? And he was like much better defensively at the end of last year. And the frustrating thing is he did the same thing the year prior, where in the spring he was much better and engaged and physical and kind of showed that he can elevate his game. And then it seems like every September, October, and into November, all of that good work that he did in the spring just goes out the door.
Then this is what he is. And Myers said that too. Like, he's not getting any better at his defensive game. And I was like, well, I'm paraphrasing a bit.
Yeah,
but so like, who is the real Evan Bouchard? Is it the one we see in glimpses in brief periods during a when everything's fine? As you say, if he gets a good look, I mean, that's when he can shine. But the world's not always perfect like that. So, like, what's the real Bouchard? Is it the one we see mostly night in, night out, where he's playing like this? Or is it the one, as you say, the specialty time that when he feels like it? And again, like, a defensive defenseman, well, if you go get your car fixed, I want a mechanic's mechanic. Like, I don't want a guy that, he comes in and he fixes the guy, but what he really does well, that doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
And it would sit well if the blue line was a little more stout and a little more, like, rounded out. Then you can afford to have a guy to just kind of go around and skate around and do that. But you can't do that with this team right now. Not with how the blue line is.
Not with the blue line, not how porous they are defensively as a five-man unit. Still, it's so frustrating.
Now, Nurse on the wing. That's the question that Rip City Step has been banging that drum for years. Ever since he was drafted. Banging.
Darnell Nurse was one of their better defensemen the other night.
But how good would he look on the wing?
Well, he would win battle. Okay,
but hypothetical game with Belsey.
He would be a menace in the corners. He would be someone that could outmuscle guys.
Yeah.
He would be a guy that probably takes the puck to the net from down low. He would probably be a guy who mucks it up in front of the net where there's a point shot. So
now we're onto something here.
I would look at comparing Nurse on the wing to Bouchard on the wing, and I'd be like, well, Darnell Nurse provides a lot more than Evan Bouchard. Now, Darnell Nurse, to his credit, is providing more than Evan Bouchard does on defense. The price tag sucks. I get it. People always bring that up.
You can't do anything about that, though.
That
was at a specific time.
Yes.
You buy something on sale, or you buy. David Holzer chimes in, nasty chat, aka Senior Boost. 97 and 29 have checked out. The organization is trying everything possible to make 97 happy. Agent, coach, player, buddy, because they know he wants out. 97 deserves better. I don't know how much better you can be getting here, though, with all the things stated. I mean, you're bringing in everything for what would the deserve be? I guess a stouter blue line in terms of our conversation.
They've given them everything.
I don't know what else you can give.
It's almost to the point of where it's a fault.
Maybe a new GM.
They'll get one.
Texter might.
They'll get one next year.
How is Nurse not the defensive whipping boy? Bouchard is like Schultz, a defenseman that fans expect too much from. Schultz doing better after leaving Edmonton. That comes in from DEL. You're done, hey. You were just, you've had it with this team. You got a pregame show, 3:30 this afternoon. Now you'll be.
I mean, we're running around in circles here. That's what we're doing.
So they're off it tonight. Pickard with the hat trick. Or, pardon me, shutout. Shutout. Pickard shutout, Draisaitl hat trick. No longer hurt.
Yeah, everything goes well.
Imagine Nurse and Kane on McDavid or Draisaitl swing. Would be awesome. That comes in from Red.
Dare to dream. That'd be something, though. Physically menacing.
Physically menacing, which would be a term we don't use too often regarding this team, eh?
That's very true.
Do we?
Yeah.
We got the hangout coming up. Matthew Iwanek.
Jerry Martajong on his way. He's on the white mud. Says it's a mess. And then
Murray
McCourt's ready to rock. Yeah.
Great weather day on tap as well. 3 degrees, mix of sun and cloud in Edmonton and area right now. 8:51. We're about 9 minutes away from the hangout. Thanks for also coming in on the morning shows the last little while. And
I'm exhausted, but I love working with you.
Dustin away and everything.
Yeah, that guy. He'll be back.
He'll be back tomorrow. Dustin Nielson on The Nielson Show. Of course, you can join me tonight. Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. We'll have the Panthers and Oilers on, as well as a Monday nighter. Tantalizing affair. Chiefs, Eagles tonight to conclude Week 11 in the National Football League. Will Renee be there? Renee will be there, and she's doing a special draw tonight as well. We are drawing a lucky winner for our trip for 2 to Los Angeles to catch the Rams and the Browns. I don't know if Renee will be doing the draw. We usually get a third-party server who has no attachment to anybody, knows nothing of the contest.
Gotcha.
We say, hey, put your hand in the box there, pick out a piece of paper, and then they'll do that, and we'll get the draw. But Renee will be there. Tube Socks is coming.
Excellent.
Hopefully Fergie's prostate. Maybe we can squeeze in a game of backgammon. Carson always shows up. Jason and Andrea. Jason got in a car accident last Thursday.
Is he okay?
I think so. A little bit of whiplash. They might be showing up tonight. Matt's always there. He's Rob's always there. There are the usuals, the regulars, as we've coined them now. But if you want to show up and hear what all the madness is about, Loaded Burger Special tonight as well. $11.99. Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. It's at the Centric Casino Fort Road, Old Yuck Yuck's location inside the casino. Join us tonight, won't you? For an evening of sports, football, hockey, and one very lucky person will be on their way to Los Angeles to take in the Rams and the Browns. Nasty chats getting popular. Once again, stick over there. We'll transition you into the hangout as well, and we'll let you know the Orange and Blue Breakfast brought to you by Mobile One Blue Water Mobile Lubricants. We'll do a quick wrap for William Huff. If you want your place to look as good as ours, contact William Huff today. They wrap everything in and around Edmonton for the past, coming up on 50 years, I want to say, if my quick math serves me right. Tom, what did you learn on this Monday morning show following the 110th Grey Cup?
I learned that there wasn't enough French at the Grey Cup.
Wow. They should have introduced them. What was it? Vert jour. I don't know why that makes me. Maybe it's the time of day. I'm kind of finding that more funny than it should be
on a Monday.
It's look. It was a fascinating Grey Cup, one that I welcome to break down on the show with you today. Of course, Dustin Nielson will be back tomorrow. I really look forward to his Grey Cup report outside of the game. It's the stories and the fan rooms and everything. That's kind of selfishly what I want to know. But what else did we learn this morning? Not too much in the sports world either. No breaking news of any note. I did learn that Darren Dreger wasn't behind the NHL's rumored expedition to Mexico City, although he'd like to be involved.
Absolutely.
Who wouldn't? we'd send you down for
Wow.
EST.
Send me down.
EST Insider
Sure.
down to Mexico
I
or
would
whatever.
love that.
Text of the day, I'm going to Chris Sadaway. He's given it the Kenny Lawler curse. He went pillar to post this morning. Good job, Chris. I'll be reaching out to you. It's the Kenny Lawler curse. He didn't want people to come here. He came here, didn't do anything. Now he's back in Winnipeg, and they can't win for losing here in Grey Cup. So isn't that something as well? Jason Leduc says, how about that F1 race, eh? Yeah, Jason. Well, a little late to the conversation, but it was a race. Max Verstappen won. Spoiler alert, if you didn't already know. But we've got the taste for Vegas, you and I. Hey,
we do.
It started a little rough heading into the weekend, but they bought us. We're sold.
It looked fantastic. It really did. Aesthetically, it was beautiful, but a lot of headaches, a lot of chaos to make it happen. And I don't know if it makes it to the 10-year run that they want it to. They have a 3-year contract in place, and we'll see how it goes next year. But, yeah, it's going to take 8 weeks to take all of that stuff down.
Man, I don't know. And I was watching, too, like, you're seeing points in Vegas where if you've been, you're like, I did this there. Or
I stayed there. I
tasted that there or whatever it is.
Great restaurant there.
But you're looking at all the infrastructure there. Like the F1. I know the Netflix and the Drive to Survive about the racers and their day-to-day. I want the setup and the takedown. Full documentary.
Well,
I want them to follow the whole season.
It would be a bit grim because there was a construction worker who passed away due to an accident there.
Give a moment that, but it just in terms of packing everything up, going all the way across the world, then packing everything up again, going across, like doing this on a week-to-week basis.
It's cool. They showed the cars arriving at the airport on their flights in the shipping containers, the cargo containers. It was really neat.
I just find it all fascinating.
Yeah,
it's such
it is
big
cool.
money moves. A few texts to wrap up the show here, 780-218-9999. Fellas, Rishaug was very accurate on many fronts. This team has virtually no third or fourth lines, too small and soft, no energy line to speak of, really. I feel for Fogle. It's not only McLeod, but others that could be easily replaced. Mobile defensive D-men is much needed. This should all be very obvious to all. Crow's Nest Oiler. That flies in from Crow's Nest Oiler there. The Juice chimes in. They've given him everything in terms of McDavid, but a true bona fide number one fresh goalie. Comes in from the Juice on your playing off the Bay. This one as well. Nurse has been as bad as Bouchard defensively, but never a word about his mistakes each game, like there is Bouchard. I think
there's been many words.
We've
about
wandered
his
down
mistakes.
that path a few times.
Oh, yes.
Yep. So,
but when you give him credit, sometimes he deserves it because he had a good game the other day.
It's just some of the, and I guess defensively, right? And you talk about defensive backs in football, the less you speak, like in general, about anything, the better it is, right? Yeah. If you're not talked about at all, like a Brett Kulak or whatever, like that's what you could hope for.
Cody Ceci and Brett Kulak have quietly put together the most consistent seasons on the Oilers.
Not talking about them. That's the point.
And it's indicative of how bad the defense is. And nothing against them. They're depth defensemen, but when they're your two best guys night in, night out, you're in trouble.
And here's a nice one as well. John the Owls fan. And John, of course, big listener, back 12-6 days as well. John, nice to see you. What a great Cup. Lots of big hits and spectacular plays from both teams. I must admit my confidence was shaken like a James Bond martini going into halftime. The opening drive to start the second half gave me hope, and the finish was a nail-biter. What a gutsy call to throw it to the end zone on third down.
Yeah.
Now I can walk the streets proudly in my kit and not get stares and snickers. John the Owls fan. He does make a good point prior to halftime there, and a big chance for them going. And
got stuffed.
I would have just, with Fajardo and kind of his dual threat, and with the size of the end zone as the CFL, like I don't going all goal line.
Yeah.
Just run it out to the wide side. You'll work the angle. You'll get that yard you need. I just would have in that case, but...
Well, I think back to that first game for the Elks. Goal line stand, 3 tries, couldn't get the 1 yard.
You don't need to bully it up. Again, you've got a full end zone, about 20, 25 yards, and you only need to get a yard. So you go to the wide side, you're getting that yard eventually. It's just a track meet. You do it every time.
Not last night. Although it didn't matter in the end. They won it.
In the end, yes. Yeah. Eric, logistics of F1 documentary on YouTube, and somebody sent me a link. I think I've got my afternoon plan now.
Boom.
This is great. Thank you very much. I will definitely check that out. Tom, thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric.
You'll be back later. Well, you're all over
like
Edmonton
in
Sports
5
Talk
minutes.
Today. You're all over. Tom will be in the Hangout, Matt Iwanek, Murray McCourt, and Jerry Montajong from Post Media. I want to thank myself, Lieutenant Eric, and YouTube Trev as well, behind the monitors and various cameras there. This is hey, good luck with that. Was it the passport photo? It was a
license. Yeah. Thanks. I can't wait to show you guys it. You're gonna get a kick out of it for sure.
Are you gonna try to remain straight faced, or do you kind of like?
I kind of want to like put my double chin in there a little bit, kind of like squeeze my face in and lift my one eyebrow up.
You should show people what you look like right now.
Right now, okay,
let's see. This is what we've been staring at all morning here, trying to hold
our beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay. Wait, where do I?
You'll always look good, whatever look. You're a good-looking guy.
There we are. Wait, let's send this over. Let's send this.
There you go. Okay, get right in there.
We're taking your photo. 3, 2, 1.
Like that. Something like that.
That's actually pretty. It's a strong look. Like in black and white. You know how they do it on the license.
It'll look good. It'll look good.
You're getting into any bar. Sure. There's no. Yeah.
I imagine so.
You don't even need the license.
No.
So thank you, Tom, for filling in, Trev, and everybody else. It is the Nielsen Show, Edmonton Sports Talk. Stay tuned. The Hangout is coming next. For Popeyes, A&W, all our sponsors, all our guests this morning, thank you so much. Dustin Nielsen returns tomorrow. Enjoy tonight's games, and have a great afternoon.